uh, जुगोपु जुगो सितं धर्म कृतेनुशासतः स्वभावरक्तस्य महान् व्यक्तिक्रमः यद्व्याक्तो धर्म इति तरः स्थितो न मन्यते तस्य निवारं जनः. So, translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So translation says the people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned, and that is quite unreasonable. Because they are guided under your instructions, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. So this is a discussion between Sri Narad Muni and Vyasadeva. So when Vyasadeva was very dissatisfied after writing all this Vedas, and when he inquired from his spiritual master Sri Narad, then he was actually chastising, Vyasadeva. And this is one of the verse where he says that actually people in general, they are naturally inclined to enjoy this material world. And if you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion, this is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. And they are guided under your instruction. They will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. So this is instruction, and Maharaj was actually explaining this point. And this first word of this verse, Jugup Sitam, and the meaning is verily condemned. And on this only one word, actually Maharaj gave the whole lecture, where Maharaj actually explained this point very nicely, where he shared actually quite a few realizations. So first one, where he says that actually this every word from Bhagavatam, the essence of whole Bhagavatam is actually in every word of this verse, And Maharaj said, you take any word from the Bhagavatam and you can find, the whole essence of Bhagavatam in one word. Where Maharaj said that Bhagavad Dharma is actually common to all. Where he says that good is always good, everywhere it is good. An important thing is that good does not have any so-called religion, Good is not Hindu, not Muslim, not Buddhist, not Chinese, And the essence is same across all religion. And Maharaj says that even if you take orange, so that orange in the house of Hindu or Muslim or Christian, it does not change, it remains the orange, Even the essence of orange, if you put that in water, it becomes orange juice. It does not become grape juice in the house of Muslim, So this Bhagavad Dharma is common to all, and it is eternal. And Srila Prabhupada is also insisted that I don't want to actually convert anyone. You be whatever you are, but you just be good. That is the only instruction. He was very plain in the beginning, and he used to tell, I'm not here to convert you from Christian to Hindus or whatever. He was very plain about it. And this is what Bhagavad Dharma is all about. So Maharaj, again, the focus on this word, Jugup Sitam, verily condemn. Any living entity who is going away from Supreme Absolute Truth is going to be condemned. And what he does is that he doesn't need to do anything himself, but by their own unfaithful attitude, the living entities are destroyed. The most intimate connection between our own material existence and our faith is that we lose our health when we are unfaithful. And that is the reason mass of the people around the world, they are suffering. And, it's very hard to get out of this birth, age, old age, and disease. So this actually word, Jugupsitam, we really condemn. So Maharaj is trying to explain that our attitude, we should behave in such a manner that you are not condemned by the Lord. And Maharaj says that all the four principles of Srimad Bhagavatam are here in this one word. What to speak, the whole shloka. When we say Jugupsitam, verily condemned, that means Krishna is there. First principle is established. Then anything not connected to Krishna is condemned. Second principle is there. And then whatever we see is Krishna. So some stock is there. Third principle is there. And you have to know only up to this that we should not be condemned and that we must always be with Krishna. All the four principles are there. Yat Syat Sarvatra Sarvada. And that principle is existing everywhere in all circumstances and time. All the four principles in this are there in this one word. Any word you take from Bhagavatam, it establishes the whole Bhagavatam. So this is very actually means a long realization. So I was reading that and meditating on that point. And what I realized that Maharaj is trying to say that this one word, the Jugupsitam, verily condemned. So where we operate, we have to be very careful that we should not be condemned by Krishna. Otherwise, we are finished. And Maharaj again gave this example from Ramayana, where Lord Ram, when he wanted to actually cross the ocean between the South India and Lanka, Sri Lanka, that he actually wanted to bridge a build. So he actually called Hanuman, Sri Hanuman, and he asked him to actually build the bridge. So Hanuman said, so be it. And he realized that whenever actually Lord asks me to do anything, he will actually give me the power to do it as well. So actually Hanuman, he started to bring all the big mountains and big stones. And every time actually, then he actually started actually writing Lord Ram's name on each stone. And then he threw it in the ocean, such a heavy stone. And to the surprise, they all started to float. So we know all this story. So actually Lord Ram saw this, in the one night that bridge was built. And he actually, because he also surprised, just looking at the stones but actually floating. So he lifted a stone and he threw that in an ocean, and it did not float, it just sunk. Then again, he surprised, oh, maybe there might be some mistake. So he picked up another big stone and he threw that in the ocean. And again, that stone is also sank. So Maharaj was explaining that point that actually when Hanuman saw that, and he came and asked Lord, my Lord, what are you trying to do? So, but Hanuman know what happened, and he told Lord Ram that actually I'm writing your name, Lord Ram, on that stone and then throwing that stone. So that stone will have your association, and that's why they are floating. And then Maharaj actually explained the second point where he says that, but Lord Ram, when he threw the stone, he did not write anything. He just threw that stone and that just sank. And Maharaj said, so we have to make sure that Krishna do not throw us. If Krishna condemn us, we're bound to actually sink, we are destroyed. So that is actually means a very nice realization by Guru Maharaj, that how he explained that one word, and the essence of all Bhagavatam is in that one word. And Maharaj says that actually, that any word in the Srimad Bhagavatam you take, that you can find the whole Bhagavatam in that one word. And Srila Prabhupada, as I shared that realization from Nand Kumar, His Grace Nand Kumar Das Prabhu, that he was saying the same thing, even you read one word, and if you have that faith, that can actually make you perfect, you can go back to Godhead. So we need to actually develop that faith. And Maharaj actually conclude that point where he says that actually anything that is connected to the Bhagavatam become very auspicious. So many thousands and thousands of incidents are there where our faith become very firm by studying Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So our devotional service becomes very firm when we hear about Lord Ram, Lord Krishna. Hanuman wrote the name of Lord Ram, and if that heavy stone can float, then is there no hope for people like us? Only because of holy name we are able to survive in this world. This is the power of the holy name, or otherwise we will be condemned. So jugupsitam. So that actually, this realization by Guru Maharaj, on this one word, I was meditating on this point, and Maharaj can able to explain, so many different actually realization from different angle, what that mean. Because I was also wondering, how come actually each and every word of Srimad Bhagavatam can have all the sense of Srimad Bhagavatam. But because Maharaj, actually he's a pure devotee and he knows, Bhagavatam, he has studied Bhagavatam word to word and realized it, he can able to explain. So we have to actually follow in the footsteps of Maharaj, and probably we will also able to understand this point slowly. And Maharaj also again shared, there was one incident that happened, that there was a small boy, actually, he was hearing this lecture, when it was delivered. And he was, Maharaj said he was just 5 years old boy, and after the lecture, he came to Maharaj and he said, I have one question. And he said, Maharaj was thinking, this boy, just 5-year-old boy, what question he will have about this lecture? And he said that, you are saying that the whole Bhagavatam is in one word, in one shloka. Then he said, I will only study one shloka. Why I need to study the whole Bhagavatam? So I was actually, when I read that, I was laughing. And Maharaj said, you are a lawyer, you got a right intelligence. You are a lawyer from the birth. So this was very nice, actually, lecture, and it was all been transcribed by one of his devotee, Sudarshana Devi Mataji. So I think Amrish Prabhu shared this email long time ago. And actually, I saved all of them. Actually, at that time, I did not have time to read all that, so I saved that. So I read it, as I go. As Srila Prabhupada says that, no time is a chronic disease of a common man. And I'm no different. But when I get a time, I read it. So actually, that inspired me, actually, when I read that. It's so true, actually, we should actually learn from the, Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, because they are following in the path of the, what they call Mahajans. So the way the knowledge is delivered, they can explain each and every word in such a beautiful way that actually they can connect so many things. Even that actually story of Lord Ram and Hanuman, I heard that many times, but this realization, yes, actually our faith has to be strong. But the second realization is that if we are actually thrown away by Krishna or Lord Ram, then we are bound to be drowned. So that Jugupsitam word, we really condemn, is such an important word, that we should conduct our devotional service in such a way that we are not condemned by Lord Krishna. That we have to be very, very careful. And this very verse, the Canto 1.5.15, even the purport, actually, the discussion between Sri Narad and Vasudev, and Narad Muni was actually chastising Vasudev, because in some part of the Vedas, there is actually Karmakand sections, and where there are some recommendation for the sacrifices and all that, where it is written that even like eating meat, there are some recommendation, but the objective of eating meat and that actually sacrifice was to actually make that person give up that habit slowly. But actually, because we are born in this material world, we are very much attached. We actually take that instruction and we use it to actually satisfy our senses, so use that sacrifice to just eat meat more and more. And where Sri Narad said that actually, if we encourage such habits, so there is we are not cared for any prohibitions, we are not going to improve. So I was meditating on this point. It's such an important point. And if you see the discussion between Sri Narad and Vasudev, both are actually very great personalities. Sri Narad Muni was a pure devotee, and Vasudev is also partial incarnation of Krishna himself. And still he was chastising Vasudev. And I was meditating on that point, and I said, this is very, very important instruction here. And because actually Amrish Prabhu trained us, actually training us to be actually preach. And this point always come up, sometime with the way we preach or the way the matter is presented is not very palatable all the time, but the truth has to be told, So it doesn't matter, actually who you're speaking to, but truth should not be compromised, because sometimes I've seen that when the preaching is going on, sometimes the matter is diluted, just to actually please people, try to actually make them feel comfortable. But here, when we see the discussion between Narad and Vasudev, what I realize is that actually we should not compromise the truth, no matter what, the truth should be told as it is. So that is what I actually realize from this verse. And actually Maharaj has also a nice lecture on that point, on that one word. So thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for sharing that actually emails a long time ago. It's very, very helpful to understand this point. And also remembering Srila Prabhupada, that realization from His Grace Nand Kumar Prabhu. So same point by Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, but actually Maharaj explained that point in detail, how that one word can have the sense of whole Bhagavatam. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Yes, that's right. Very correct. Maharaj, I remember this verse and question also by Guru Maharaj. So, yeah. And Vyasadeva was a disciple of Narada. So, when he asked for a question, so when he asked the question to his guru, what do I do now? My heart is not satisfied by this. So that's when he chastised. First thing he chastised me. So be careful when you ask a question to your guru. First thing will come is chastisement. The chastisement doesn't come, then you're okay. You think you're okay. You're not okay. Actually, we always think that if you get chastisement from the guru, you are actually very fortunate. The guru means heavy, Yeah, guru means heavy. You should be ready for chastisement, for the correct action. Open heart surgery. Okay. Very nice. Thank you very much for your evaluation. Okay, who would like to go next? Please feel free. Okay. Would Pradyumna would like to say a evaluation, please? Feel free. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, sir. Am I audible, bro? Hare Krishna. Thank you for allowing me to share my realization. Actually, my realization is on the lecture why we find it hard to progress in bhakti, and one of the paragraph you shared on the beginners program group. So when I rewatched the lecture and when I went through my notes, a few points I had written it down that I can share with devotees. So the first is peacefulness. The first point where why we find it hard to progress in bhakti is peacefulness. And you told us that we are not peaceful because we are not focused, and we are uh, we are not focused because we are swayed very easily by one thing or another. And one line that I like the most is that the most important thing is to do the most important thing. And we don't actually do the most important thing. And that is remembering Krishna, chanting his name. And that reminds me of a paragraph you shared on the beginners program. I'll just read that paragraph. so many times this chanting, it is not so nice. It is slurred. It's unclear. No, we are not trying to be fast. We want to hear and we should worship the holy name. When we utter it, we should worship the holy name. Is from New York, 27 July 1971. So Prabhupada is here saying that we are not trying to be fast. Uh, like, I experienced this many times and I do that many times also, that I'm very fast in chanting. I just want to complete the rounds before I go to sleep. Uh, if I don't get time in morning, I always procrastinated that I'll do it in the evening. I'll do it before going to sleep. And before going to sleep, I do it so fast just to complete the rounds and go to sleep, and uh, the same cycle goes on again and again. So this I and the next point is that the threefold miseries that are there, Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, and Adi Atmi, these miseries are try us not to be peaceful. They make sure that we are not peaceful. And one uh, one of the point also I liked is that it is important to know what we want to achieve and when we want to achieve. So I think that is very practical, uh, both in material sense and spiritual sense also. That what we want to achieve, we have to know that, and when we want to achieve that, also we should know. And when we are when we are very focused, our association becomes very small. Right? Our friends get we don't have very much friends that we have discussed, that we don't have very much friends when we are into bhakti or when we are focused, because actually when we are focused, we choose our association, we choose who we want to be with. And one last point I want to share, that from the Maharaj lecture, that those who are always conscious about time element, they can achieve Krishna. One mala is enough to get to Krishna. Uh, Here, Maharaj is saying that even one round of chanting is enough to get to Krishna. That does not mean that we should not chant 16 rounds, but we should chant each and every word of Krishna with full devotion. We should worship the holy name. And the last point is that we have to be very conscious on how we spend our time. We always think that we have very much time ahead. We'll do that thing later on. First, we'll do something else. And it's not always true that we have time. We don't even know what will happen in the very next second. So I think I should be more careful on how I spend my time. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Abhijit. Yes. The problem is we think we have time. That is a big problem. Absolutely right. I was talking to a devotee. He's very much close to us. He started the program with us. He was the first tutor in our program in 2002. So we got to know now he's in the last leg of his life, literally. He's not old, he's young, but he's in the last leg of his life. And he'll be leaving Australia and going to India to leave his body in India. Just see how fortunate is India. People are living in Indians want to leave India and go to Australia. Here we got a devotee living in Australia, wanting to come to India to to leave his body. So how fortunate is the birds in India and those who live in India. So he was telling me this, now we were remembering our times when he would come to our programs and give classes, lectures. So before I was giving classes, lectures. So, yeah, I told him, because at least you got less time. I don't even know this. So I'm living in fool's paradise. I told him, but you are living really. You are living in reality. You're fortunate. I'm not fortunate. I don't know what will happen tomorrow, or even today, or even this minute. So you are absolutely correct. The problem is, we think we have done. This is a very important statement. There are many memes made of this. So yeah, Hare Krishna. More. Let us have more. Who would like to go next? Please feel free. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my realization, I'll start with a verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktavadeham punarjanma naiti mameti sojuna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjun. So my realization, it is based off a question that I asked Avinash Prabhu in one of our lectures, in one of our classes. I think it was 2 weeks ago. So my question was actually, we were discussing something on lines of this verse only, that how people can also fall down from Brahman realization. But the only place from where one does not fall down is when we go back to Godhead. From Golok Vrindavan, we cannot fall down. So that I asked the question that if that is the case, then why is it that we are currently in the material world? Why did we fall down? And so that was my question. And Avinash Prabhu said that is a question which was he had also thought about that question. And I remember the answer that he gave was that at some point of time, we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. So I tried to meditate on this point and I thought a lot about this. And Avinash Prabhu also, he shared a verse yesterday, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, on the learners group or some group he shared. And in that also, he had shared a verse about how that Maharaj Yudhishthir, he was not able to understand that how can it happen that someone can come back to this material world. So I'll just read out the translation of that verse. That Maharaj Yudhishthir inquired, what kind of great curse could affect even liberated Vishnu bhaktas, and what sort of person could curse even the Lord's associates? For unflinching devotees of the Lord to fall again to this material world is impossible. I cannot believe this. So I was actually this week, I was kind of thinking on this and I was meditating. And this week was particularly kind of difficult for me because I was finding it very difficult to do all of my bhakti daily sadhana, because actually I had gotten a labor room posting in my college. Now, labor room posting is I don't know if everyone understand this. It's like a maternity ward where mothers are giving birth. So that kind of posting is very hectic, and we have to be there day and night. And most of the time we are there only. We just come back to sleep. And it was very hectic for 3-4 days. We had it over there. So one day I was not able to chant entirely. I did not chant any rounds because I was there the whole day. And then then next day I was trying to catch up. I tried to catch up the entire week, chanting 2-3 rounds, extra rounds every day. So I was doing all of that, and I just realized that all through my college life, I have been in college for I think 4 years now. And I think this is a repeated realization again, but I always thought that once I start working, then maybe things will be different, because right now I'm bound by my college timings and everything. And once I start working, I'll be earning as well. And, things will be somehow easier. But in this week, I I got a picture of how actually my life is going to be when I will be working. And I just realized that, okay, when I start working, I think there is going to be even more difficulties for me. And while I was in the labor room, I was actually seeing a lot of birth. And I was seeing small children, they were just being born, and I was seeing that. And I remembered, I think Parth Prabhu had shared this verse with me before, or he had shared something about it was in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3 in the 31st chapter. So in that chapter, the heading of that chapter is Lord Kapil's instructions on the movements of the living entities. And so I read through the translations of all the verses in that chapter. And he was explaining the entire journey of a soul, right from the conception to the death, and then how the cycle keeps on repeating. And even then, in that chapter, I read this one text in text 9. It is written. I'll just read out the translation. The child remains just like a bird in a cage without freedom of movement. At that time, if the child is fortunate, he can remember all troubles of his past 100 births, and he grieves wretched. What is the possibility of peace of mind in that condition? So I read this, and I was really baffled that I remember when Prabhu told me the first time that this is how it happens. I was not aware that even when the child is a fetus, then he remembers everything, and he remembers all the miseries of the world, and he's in a lot of distress and discomfort, and he is remembering everything. But then what happens is that it was written that as soon as the child enters the material world, there is so much of difficulty that it takes place, and then he's suddenly in the material world, and he just entirely forgets everything. So the first time that he breathes the air of the material world. So I just realized that that is the nature of the material world, that we, even though we were from Golok, we fell down because we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. And that child, even when he is born, so that child also forgets everything as soon as he is born, and all the promises that he makes to Krishna while he's in the womb, and everything that he has realized, oh my God, this is so difficult, I just want to be out of this. And once he leaves the body of the mother, he is again forgetting everything. And he again starts accepting the miserly state of affairs, and he gets in the grind again. And that is what we do. And that made me realize that, especially nowadays in the world that we are living, the culture and everything that has changed so much. And we don't even realize that the current culture is not the right thing to follow. That has become the new normal. And anything that we practice, the lifestyle that we are trying to practice in Krishna consciousness, and whatever Srila Prabhupada has propagated, and Krishna consciousness philosophy, that is considered to be out of the ordinary, or something extra, or something weird that we are doing. Even if we do something like this, then this activity is questioned. Like if you go to a party and you're drinking, then that is the normal thing. That this is a nice person, cool, he's very cool. And if you're not, then they've asked you, why are you not drinking? If you're not having non-veg, they're like, why are you not having non-veg? And the worst of all is that if you say that I have had non-veg, I have stopped it. So they're like, oh my God, why did you stop it? Because if you were eating from before, then you should have just continued it. What is the point? So that is what has become in today's world, that no one is willing to take any kind of responsibility. No one is even willing to realize or try to understand what is happening, why is it happening. And that is why people have midlife crisis, and they have very cool Gen Z terms for it, that I am having a quarter life crisis nowadays. Because they don't understand what is needed to be done with their life, and they feel like this is the normal, everyone is doing this, then where am I going wrong? What is the problem? So yes, probably that. And everything has become so difficult nowadays. Like, not just first of all, living a normal good lifestyle is difficult in itself, and then things like difficulties, you are facing so much of difficulties. I am in this college studying for 4 years, and I to study for these 4 years, I had to study for 2 years to get an exam that could allow me to study for 4 more years. And now I'm studying for 4 years, and it's about to end in some 10 months or something. And once this gets over, I will again be capable to give another exam, which will again allow me to study for 3 more years. Now, this is a very doctor specific lifestyle, where every exam and every course that I do just allows me to study for even more number of years. By the time that I will get, I don't know, I will not even realize, and I'm 35, 40-year-old, and I'm like, last 15 years, all I have just given are exams, and my entire life has just revolved around this. And this is my generation. I don't know if I'm old enough to call it my generation, but I see small children, they want to, like in my time, I started studying for my entrance exam in 11th standard. And nowadays, I see children are studying from 5th standard, they're studying from 8th standard. And this is just how difficult everything is getting. Now, while these things are difficult and it is very important to prosper in your career, and prospering in your career has become so difficult, what happens is that anything and everything that we do just become anything and everything that we do wrong. Like if you cheat, or if you are so stressed out that you're drinking, and this is the excuse that people give, that this is so difficult, so I will relax, or I will chill out because I'm facing so many difficulties and I'm doing so many things, that I deserve this and I should be doing this. And so then, Prabhuji, I realized that so Maya is not just the good things that are there. Like it's not just tasty food, non-veg food, food with onion garlic, or drinking and having fun, or partying with your friends. But even the difficulties that you're facing in your daily life, that is also Maya. Like even for if you're working very hard for your career, and you are working very hard for your exams, and that is your dharma right now, it is. But it is just so difficult in today's world that it is very easy to be deviated towards that material world entirely and just forget why you are doing it and just forget looking at the bigger picture. And so that is how powerful Maya is, and we don't even realize it. So, Prabhuji, I think that is my realization, that this is how powerful Maya is, and that we also fell down because we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. And I just hope that, I pray that the mercy of devotees that are present in today's class, and Srila Prabhupada's mercy, I can understand that I am incapable of enjoying independent of Krishna. And I hope that this realization is not temporary and fleeting, like the one that a fetus had when he is in the womb but forgets as soon as he's born. But I hope this is a permanent realization. And yes, Prabhuji, I just hope that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, very nice. Now you're back in your element, you know. So we all of us appreciate your realizations. It's very personal. You spend the time, and we like very much personal realization and how we can apply our philosophy that we learn in personal life. It's very good. Congratulations, you're able to do that all the time. Very nice. Very nice. Maya, we cannot defeat Maya. Let's make friends with her. We make friends with Maya again. Oh my God, you know. So let's make friends with Krishna, not Maya. You know? Yeah. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Radhika. Yar Krishna Ka Nai Maya Radhika. That's the point. Very nice. All you youngsters, you are very fortunate that at very young age you are coming in touch with Srila Prabhupada, and you've got the system, and you've got the whole curriculum in front of you of education, spiritual education, and you have dedicated tutors and teachers who are spending and thinking about you, teaching you. So make the most of it. Be successful both materially and spiritually, and eventually give up material things. Everything be spiritual. It's very, very fortunate. You just don't know how fortunate you are, you know. How very fortunate. I'm so happy, blessing my stars and my blessings, you know, for Guru Maharaj and Krishna. This is the purpose why we started the whole program. That new people can be given systematically the knowledge. And Maharaj would say, practically implement the knowledge. Then the masses will understand. And we can see masses are understanding. Who are coming in touch with us, they're understanding. So very nice. All the best to you. Wonderful. Okay. More, please. More. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, you are good. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So Prabhuji, thank you so much for giving me this platform to share this realization today. I'll try my best to give a realization amid all wonderful and great realization of the devotees. So
Prabhuji, I want to start my realization by sharing my life incident that happened with me during this time. So what happened was that there was a lecture going on in my college, and because my subject matter deals with literature and philosophy a lot, so one of our senior professor, who was very sound in philosophy, who read Bible, and he's very sound in all scriptures, even Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata, he once told us that if I want to go in exile in a jungle, then I'll take Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita with me. So this philosophically very sound person was teaching us and giving us some notes and dictating that one of the modern philosophies. So in that middle of that, he just told that, I really believe in consciousness, but I don't believe in soul. If God is, he was giving some Christian references that if God is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent, he was giving that Christian philosophy. Then why he is so uncouth, why he is so is not so merciful, lack of people are dying, lack of things are going wrong in the world, and this and that, and what is like, I don't care. And that he continued, and then he was saying that I really feel that the people who believe in God, they should grow up. and I was completely in a state of angst and agitation. I was like, what is happening with? So I just out of my curiosity, I just asked him that, sir, are you a atheist? So yes, Shuchi, completely, I am a complete atheist. So yeah, I'm complete atheist, Shuchi. So I was okay. So I just I couldn't stop myself and ask a question that, sir, if you believe in consciousness, then can you tell me that from how consciousness is there, how consciousness has emerged, and if we and me and you, I and you and the other person in the class is just a bag of skin and bone, so how you feel compassionate about your students, how I feel respect about you. So all of a sudden he was into that mode of introspection and contemplation. He just glared at me, and he again started, okay, we have a lot of things to do, and he just started dictating the notes again. And I could not say a word after that, because he glared at me in a way that he'll kill me now. So so I couldn't say a word after that, and I started scribbling my notes. And all of a sudden, what happened is that a huge wind blowed, and our class door slammed. And all of a sudden, this professor screamed, "Oh my God!" And we all look at this professor, and all the class burst out laughing. So this was just a short incident that happened with me. But this short incident gave me a lot of contemplation, a lot of pondering on this little concept. And as and when I was back home, I called Avinash Prabhu, and I was so eager to tell him all the story, and all these things happened with me. And I was discussing that, Prabhuji, I was feeling helpless, that how to tell these people about things. And he was also saying, amid all those things, he was saying that, what is the size of soul? Do we all know what is the size of the soul? And I was in that middle of, I was pondering that, yeah, I know the size of the soul. Scripture tells us the size of the soul. And all these things, I was just blabbering to Avinash Prabhu. And so Avinash Prabhu was like, okay, you have done your best. Hold on your horses, and you have done your best. You have tried to agitate your professor, that all you can do in that condition, because he was in a power position than you, and you cannot tell anything that a person is not comfortable to hear. After a point, if a person is not agreeing to take the philosophy, after a point, if the person is not ready to take the philosophy, how far you can go and tell the person, or how far. And the one thing that Prabhuji Amidal told me is, the most important thing about this is, are you increasing your faith? are you increasing your tendency to go and search for scripture, so that if all these things happen, you can elaborate on the concept. Amid all that, if you are feeling that your faith has increased, then that is a success, then that is a progress. It is not good to be agitated. It is good that you feel to say something. It is good, but and this same concept was told in the evening class also, in the youth class also by Prabhu Prabhuji. And I was just pondering on that because of these incidents that happen, a little bit of this incident that happened, this are the eye openers for me. These are the incident that if it is increasing, and it is increasing my faith in our scriptures, and as you say, our dharovar is so prestigious and so important that we don't actually give a lot of importance to that. And after that conversation with Avinash Prabhu got over, I thought that if I would have not been in contact with Srila Prabhupada's books, if I would have not been in contact with this scripture, this knowledge, then I would have definitely gone into some modern philosophy and have been speculating on the concept of God and soul. So that is the thing that agitated me. That is the thing that struck to me, that it is so important to understand it. And at the top of it, it is somebody who had preached me and I have came here, who has told me about this and I have come here. There are people who are teaching me about this. There are devotees like you, Avinash Prabhu, and all the dear devotees present in the class who teached me in every stage of my life to what to do, what is black and what is white, how to take little decisions in my life. I still remember taking my decision in a stage where I was choosing my education and career. I consulted with Avinash Prabhu. So this little thing, right from my material endeavors to my spiritual endeavors, I'm taking shelter of devotees. I'm taking the shelter of Srila Prabhupada's books and the scriptures. So this was so important. And that gave me this realization that preaching is so important. Actually, this movement of preaching is not, it is so important that it makes a life of an individual. It actually turns a sad and a mysterious life of an individual to a happy one. And because of this preaching, I am here. And because of the preaching, the young devotees are coming and taking this dharovar as their own, which were certainly, they were deviating from that in the past. So this preaching is so important. And again, as the preaching is in the middle of my conversation, yesterday only we were talking about this preaching thing in our class, in the afternoon class, and I got these 3 best definitions of preaching that I really want to share and conclude my realization. First preaching is when you are going out, and this was given by Avinash Prabhu and we were discussing in the class. First preaching is when you are really going out and distributing books and preaching to the people and giving the philosophical basis and scriptural knowledge to the one, and holding a class and giving the classes. First preaching is that. Other preaching is when you are preaching through your behavior, where you are preaching through your code of conduct. When you are preaching through the way you conduct yourself. Yat yat achrati shreshta tat tat eva taro jana, as Bhagavad Gita says. And third preaching is when you are supporting the preaching process. When you are also cooking food and supporting the preaching process. And that was the very beautiful one that came into my attention yesterday. That this is also preaching when you are cooking food, and that is ultimately fructifying the preaching process. When you are also helping set up the class, helping set up the whole event, that is also preaching. So that was also one of the beautiful points. So these are things that because and why I'm pointing out that, because I always used to think that how I can preach. I have no philosophical inclination. I'm developing that I've realized so far. But how will I able to preach that? But I got to know that if I'm doing all this activity, that is also preaching. So I should not worry that I'm not preaching in a way, giving book, and in a way distributing and holding classes. So these are all the things that actually sum up my realization that how important is our scriptural knowledge. Second, how important is when somebody come and preach you and you have become a part of this setting. And third is we can preach at any time, anywhere, any point in our life. We don't require to be in a certain position to preach. We can preach by all these three mediums, with all these three principles stated. So and therefore and thus there is no excuse to preach. There is no excuse. So this was my realization, and I just want to conclude by quoting one Prabhupada's line. Prabhupada used to say that this material world is like a bad bargain, but all we can do is that take the best use of this bad bargain. Hare Krishna. Thank you. This was my realization.
Hare Krishna, very nice. Make the best use of the bad bargain. Famous. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Very nice, very nice. Well, actually, very enthusiastically you presented your whole realization. It's very nice, actually. And well, you can preach to ladies. I'm sure you'll be ready for doing that. Are you ready for doing that? Mataji is talking to Mataji. Very nice, very nice. All your realizations are very good. You've had many long gaps, but it's wonderful. All the youngsters are doing very, very well. The realizations and tutors are doing very, very well too. Look at the hard work they do. Avinash Krishna Prabhu, his wife, Saraswati Mataji, to all of you, Shital Prabhu, his wife, Amita Mataji, even Sanjeev Prabhu. So that's, and Dolly Mataji there. It's very, very nice. A lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and at the same time, commitment, And that is the whole process. That's parampara. One day you will preach. Don't you worry. We will not let you go. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. And within the mood of Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. That is one thing we should get into it. So before we expose you out, that mood of Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj is very critical. First, here we get knowledge, and mood we get both. And then we emphasize more on the mood part. It is very critical. And it's not that easy. So yeah, welcome. Wonderful. Wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hi, welcome. It's going to go. Hi, all. Yeah, Suchi Mataji, it was a very nice realization. You're all fired up, it's really nice. So you don't say you're not preaching, because being fired up is the first prerequisite for being preached, starting preaching. And I was just thinking, when you made that point that your professor was saying, we don't even know the size of the soul. And you said, yes, I know it, So that's the beauty of reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And I was just thinking, otherwise, we can be fooled easily, But here you're not. The best thing is that no one can just fool you. And the beauty is that you are a student, but you probably know more than your teacher. So it's amazing. It's really amazing. Very, very nice. Very happy to hear. It's wonderful realizations. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. It was all because of the teachings of the class and devotees. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Haribol, can you hear me? Some audio problems?
Yes, Prabhu, now we can hear.
Did you hear me now? Okay. I said somebody was speaking. You all wanted to speak. When my wife was about to speak.
Yes,
Who,
Prabhu. I was
Avinash?
wanting to.
Sorry, was it Avinash? Who was it? Yourself? I don't know. You have to say
My
again?
myself. I unmuted myself.
Yes, please speak. Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Amrish Prabhu. Thank you, Avinash Prabhu, for giving this opportunity for me to share this realization. And thank you to Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Now you are.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just start again. So thank you, Amrish Prabhu. Thank you, Avinash Prabhu, for giving me this chance so that I can share my realization. And I'm traveling, so the signal might be a bit laggy or jittery, but I apologize for that. If there is something, if I my audio breaks in between, kindly let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep saying. I prepared a small realization. So, just last coming week, uh, I shifted my house in Hyderabad, and so I told Avinash Prabhu about this, and I think most of the devotees are aware, but I'll still share the realize because my realization is based on that. And the main core of the realization is from the class that Amrish Prabhu gave on the Mumbai Sangha on peacefulness and why we are not progressing in bhakti, why there's stagnation. So it all connects. So first I'll share the recent update in my life. So I've shifted my house, and before I was living independently in a one BHK in Hyderabad. Now I've shifted my house to live together with some devotees. So so they are devotees, as in not just ISKCON devotees. So there are devotees from all. So there are Sri Vaishnavas, there are Gaudiya Math devotees, and there are devotees. So they have rented a place, a house, a full 5 BHK house, and they all there is a cook who cooks prasadam, and he's a devotee, and then we offer it. Basically, it's a ISKCON center, a small ISKCON center. So that's where I'm living right now. So uh, m- the core, as I said, of the realization is based on what Ambrish Prabhu said. So we were talking about peacefulness, and we were talking about progressing in bhakti, and then so how this relates is while I with my time with devotees, I realized one thing that, and Avinash Prabhu also keeps saying this in the classes, that you cannot define Krishna, or you cannot define Krishna Bhakti and keep it in a bottle. It's not one straight formula. As he comments on my engineering background. He's like, it's not A plus B equals C. Krishna Bhakti is very vivid and dynamic. You cannot put it in a bottle of jar and just confine it like that. So I've seen devotees. I've never encountered such views before. So they're like a lot of devotees, as I said, and they have very differing views from each other. And this is also where I would. So before I go to the second part, so I want to share what views they have. So like some people are from Sri Sampradaya because it's South Indian. It's mostly influenced by Sripad Ramanujacharya and Sripad Madhvacharya. So they have full devotion of Ramanujacharya. They have full devotion to Sriman Narayan and Lakshmi Maya. They have devotion to that. And so there are Gaudiya Math devotees who have differing views. They're disciples of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. So they have some views and everything. So it's a full, it's a, what will I say? It's a khichdi, if I would like. So it's a khichdi of thoughts and philosophies, but everybody is trying to stay together. Now, what I realized here was, Prabhu, that if it were not, as Ruchi Mataji said in a realization, and if it were not for Hare Krishna WECAN, and if it were not for my mentor Avinash Prabhu, and his grace Ambrish Prabhu, and Sheetal Prabhu, and Sanjeev Prabhu, and all the Matajis who form the support system of Hare Krishna WECAN, if it were not for this, it was very easy to get swayed in the world of bhakti because there's just so much. So one example I'll give you. So these devotees, and I'm in no position to criticize. I'm in no position. I'm not criticizing. I'm not sharing what my observation. So what I've observed is, Prabhu, like these devotees from I'll just share an example of Gaudiya devotee. So he's same age as me, but so I was just reading for Saturday class, for youth class. I was reading On the Way to Krishna, which is a very small Prabhupada book. And this devotee asked me, "Oh, what are you reading?" I'm like, "A small Prabhupada book." "Oh, I've read all of them." I said, "Oh, wow, very nice, Prabhu, very nice." And he said, "Now I'm reading Prema Vivarta." I'm, "Oh, wow." And then he said, "Oh, I've also read Jaiva Dharma." I say, "Oh, wow." "I've also read Shat Sandarbhas." I'm like, "Oh, wow, very good." And then he kept on going. "I've read this, I've read that, I've read this, I've read that." "Okay, okay, Prabhu." And I said, "Okay, Prabhu, and how's your chanting going, Prabhu?" And he said, "Oh, I have not chanted since 3 months." I was like, "Oh, not chanted since 3 months?" "Yes, Prabhu, I haven't chanted. So I did not get the time to chant." So I was like, "Okay, Prabhu, okay." So this is one thing. And then when I said, "Oh, Prabhu," but and he started telling me, "Oh, why don't you read this? Why don't you read that?" I said, "Prabhu, I'm reading small books. I'm under guidance, and I'm going in in a step by step manner. So I'm reading this, and I'm doing my japa, and I'm doing my sadhana daily. So I'm comfortable with that." He said, "Okay, okay." Next day he comes, and next day there was a while we were having prasadam together. So there was a discussion, some Sri Vaishnav, this other guy from Sri Vaishnav Sampradaya, he was sharing about the Alvars, the south, the saints from South India, the Alvars. He was sharing their realizations and how beautiful poetry they have done. And it was very, I felt that, oh wow, what the devotion that they had for Hari, that is so nice and so deep. But at the same time, there were some other devotees, and they were like, "Oh, but you need to understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and not Narayan." And I was looking at them, and I was looking at the Sri Vaishnava, and Sri Vaishnava was like, "But I know, but my dedication, devotion is towards Sriman Narayan. I know Krishna might be supreme, but I worship him." And all of this, I was just, and there was little bit of a tension building up. And at that point, I realized that Ambrish, so this is where the core comes up. And Ambrish Prabhu said that if you are satisfied with your knowledge, so he said that if you're satisfied with your knowledge, there's no agitation. If you're satisfied with yourself, there's no need to point fingers and anything, because you have your relationship with Krishna, you are satisfied with your sadhana, you are satisfied with your principles, and you can just appreciate what people are doing. All glories to them. You don't have to point fingers and tell them, "Oh, this is wrong or that is wrong," if you're satisfied. I also realize this one thing, Prabhu, that the more scriptures you read, I used to think that, oh, if I read more and more knowledge I will get. And I was in this habit before, and I still am to some extent, that the more knowledge I had, the more I wanted to tell people I had that knowledge. So it's like, I've read this. "Oh, do you know this? It's written over here. Oh, do you know that? Oh, do you know that?" But I thought, oh my God, if this is a linear thing, that as time progresses, this knowledge will keep getting more. There's this tendency keep getting more. Like the best we, and we read book, tendency actually decreases. We become more rooted in ourselves. It's no more about temple and
Prabhuji, you're breaking up now. We would really want to hear you. We really want to hear you. Just hold on.
breaking up.
It was very nice. It came with a crescendo, and now your screen is frozen, but I think your voice is okay. Can you say something?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I'm just reversing the car, Prabhu. I just go where the signal was there. So,
Yeah, okay. We'll wait. We'll wait. As you said, you are traveling, but we want to hear you. It's very nice. We'll wait for a few seconds. Not to worry.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Is it audible now?
Yeah. The screen is frozen, but I think you can
Yeah.
speak. You can speak. That's okay. We want to hear you. Please continue.
Okay. Yes, apologies, devotees, for this inconvenience. So, yes, as I was saying, Prabhu, that, the more scriptures we read and the more sadhana we have, Prabhu, I've realized that the more grounded and rooted we become. And as the more, and I used to read this, Avinash Prabhu shared this quote, this shloka on the groups several times, and he takes the senior class as well. He shared this shloka, and he shared that with me also. I asked him one question, I remember years ago, and the answer was, there are qualities of devotee as mentioned by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita that way. I'm not remembering the exact number. I'm very sorry. There are, I think, 24, 25, some quality, or 30. I'm not sure. So I won't comment. But there are some qualities that Krishna mentions, like truthfulness, humility, all of that. And within that, and in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions graveness, that the one quality of devotees being grave. And I always thought, but Srila Prabhupada laughs so much and he's so happy all the time. And Amrish Prabhu also smiles, and in the class, devotees also are happy and all of that. So, so how is this being grave? I didn't understand that, because I thought that being grave is, all this, your face is all stoic and you're not smiling, you're not happy, you're just grave. But then, and then as I kept attending classes and I kept listening to my mentors, I realized that graveness is not smiling. Graveness is becoming content with your oneself. It's being situated like, okay, so the more, I cannot put this into words, but it it actually is, the more deep you go in philosophy. And I saw that, Prabhu, that because of the system that we have in Hare Krishna WECAN, it's so different, it's so unique. It's it's I have no words to literally explain that. And it's so helpful, Prabhu, that in a structured manner we are reading, we are getting step-by-step guidance, we are handled along the way, and all the way actually. And we are, we are sharing realizations and all of that. So, and this is just wonderful, Prabhu. And after meeting with these devotees and after seeing all this, all this raita, I would call in the, I don't know. So it's just in their heads. So it's so easy to identify, where what went wrong. It's just that there was no structured learning, or there was no, step-by-step guidance. They were just left out in the world of bhakti. And so one of the devotees from the Gaudiya Math, they say that, Srila Prabhupada has written very basic books. He has written very basic books. It is all basic information. Prabhu, you need to graduate up, level up. And I said, Prabhu, I cannot wake up on time. Let me be my basic self, Prabhu. I cannot wake up on time. I am still not having attentive chanting, Prabhu. The basics, let me first complete the basics that Srila Prabhupada has said. Then I will maybe graduate to other books under the guidance of my mentors. But if that is basic, then Prabhu, let me tell you, that is not basic for me. That is very difficult basics, because I am not able to do 100% of it. I am just able to do 1%. So that means I'm not even a beginner now in bhakti. So I told the devotees that, and they were all shocked. They were like, okay, so how? And so after this, I was sharing this dinner incident where the Sri Sampradaya Vaishnava was saying this and that. And I remember in one class, Harish Prabhu said that, and I think it was in Sangha also, that devotees have, obviously, Prabhupada mentions that we have particular relations with Krishna. And a devotee who's settled in that relation, there is no up, down, low, left. Everybody is satisfied in that relationship with Krishna. We need to identify what a relationship is. So if somebody is attracted to a particular form of God, why? And they are attracted to the particular form of Krishna only. So why create disturbance for them? And what? So basically all of this comes from understanding the basics, because the basics are not clear. That is why people are doing all of this. So yes, Prabhu, that is what I wanted to share, Prabhu. And just my realization on how just why it was a appreciation, a realization basically for all the efforts that my mentors put, especially you, Prabhu, Avinash Prabhu, Sheetal Prabhu, Sanjeev Prabhu have mentioned it. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for keeping us on the right track, for guiding us along the way, and for not letting us get lost in this jungle, and helping us understand Srila Prabhupada's mood, and as you said, in the mood of His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah.
Very nice. First class. The best realization is personal realization. When you can personally experience and you can personally put into practice what you study. All of yours, youngsters, are expert in this. And that is what really, really, really is the core where Maharaj is so happy that you're personally experiencing this, practically implementing it. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'm me, my wife, and my son. It's also with Avinash Saraswati Mataji. And we're so pleased with all of you, that the hard work that has been given on you by them is in the right direction. You all are in the right direction. Otherwise, you may put the right direction of hard work, but you may go in the wrong direction. You may have your own direction, That is not the case. So that is very good. That's very good. You see, I would like to share this point. Personally speaking, I have been really, really hammered with so many names. Just with this point to say that don't make the devotees jump from one point to another. Let them get systematic studies. And this is not my point. Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj always says this. You cannot jump in bhakti. And just the other day, I was talking to some very senior devotees here in Auckland. We were meeting in an informal setting, but devotees are there, so we talk about Krishna and Krishna all the time. So I said, we have been taught on what to speak, what to teach when a person walks in, how much to teach, then what to teach, then what to teach. And that I've meditated upon and broken down into beginners program, intermediate program, and leaders program. So this is a great benefit where all of you are now experiencing the fructification of it. Otherwise, there have been so many names given to me. I'm very strict, I'm Hitler, I'm this, I'm that. When all this, and credit goes to Avinash Prabhu, his wife, Saraswati Mataji, they all stick on to it, at any cost, because they may not initially understand why there's a protection, why we say this, don't do that, don't do this, and knowledge given systematically, don't jump. Now things are more clearer because they can do things at a certain level. That's what Maharaj would say. But now you know our way, so now you do the things. Simple. There's no restriction actually. So remember one more thing. Too much knowledge is actually detrimental for bhakti. If you read too many things, too much things, it will never help your bhakti. It will never help your bhakti. I'm saying it will not help your bhakti. I'm saying it will never help your bhakti. So if you restrict your knowledge base from certain people, not everybody. So after you have got knowledge from certain set of people, after a certain point in time, you can gain knowledge from anybody else. But it's very important with whom you get knowledge. If you restrict it, if you're focused on it, you'll always progress fast. And I have always seen 100%, even within societies of Gaudiya Math, because I have devotees friends who are from Gaudiya Math, from ISKCON, from other sects also. If there is no systematic training being given, as you very correctly have experienced and shared with us, and we're very thankful to you for this. All this while it was just theory for all of people, but not as practical for all of people because of your experience. Because we had experience, my friend, but not everybody else. So if you do not have this thorough systematic approach, then if there's nobody training you, then as you said, you will easily be swayed away doing listening to this, then doing that, then doing this, then doing this, then doing that. And you are nowhere else. You're standing in the same place or gone back. I have had people and devotees actually coming to me and crying with shedding so much tears to say, please help me, that I have not gained anything after so many years in doing this practice. You see? what's going wrong? And I told them, what's going wrong is this, that you go here, then you go there, then you go there, then you go there. You're nowhere. So it's great. I hope the other youngsters, the team members would learn from this. And there's a whole purpose of the self-realization process, a realizations program. That our processes, if they are working well, we must be informed. Not working well, we should be informed too. It's been going on for 20, 25 years. Even now, even today, as we speak, after this class, I'm been invited to join another session by another set of devotees from UK and other places. And they how to improve the sanghas, how to improve sangha and organization. And I think we are already doing it. That those people, if they're doing it, so I would like to see what they've done, We have proved it for so many years. So here we are. And and thank you very much for your personal realization on this. Then my wife would like to share one point on this, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, I want to share my realization on one message that we put from the group. In the message, it was written like in the human form of life.
Hare Krishna.
One,
Speaking?
Sorry, Deepak Guruji, Hare Krishna, your voice is a bit low. Yeah, it's a bit hard to hear, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, am I audible?
Still a bit
No,
low.
not audible yet.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing my realization, for letting me share my realization. So
We can't hear you, Prabhuji. Very sorry, we can't hear you.
just a second.
Just increase the volume, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, am I audible now?
Aha, now you're audible. What's happening?
Okay. So, Prabhuji, thank you for letting me share my realization.
Just increase the volume, please. Yes, all good, all good. Please continue.
Yeah. So I want to share my realization on one message that I read on the group. Like the message was, in the human form of life, one should become a Brahmana, which means that one should understand the constitutional position of the absolute truth, Krishna, and then engage his service as a Vaishnava. And below that it was written that one is called Brahman by his action, not merely by his birth in a Brahman family. So just like the son of an engineer doesn't become engineer, or son of a doctor doesn't become doctor, he have to pass certain qualification. So by taking birth in Brahman family, we doesn't become Brahman. And for becoming Brahman, we must acquire knowledge and understand the absolute position of Godhead or Krishna. So looking at myself, like the importance of knowledge, looking at myself prior, like 8 to 10 months prior, I wasn't aware of anything. Like I was just living in darkness, like just work hard, study hard, get a job, then get married, then all and all. I wasn't aware about anything. And after like joining this weekend program, like as you just said, knowledge. So under the guidance knowledge, like step by step knowledge, I came to know about many things. Came to know about what is Krishna, what is that, what is what. And if I think, like if I try to understand it all by myself, then I couldn't be understood. Like the Krishna, understanding Krishna is so different, so hard. Krishna himself in one thing says, like shows Virat Roop to Arjun, and another thing we can see, Krishna is present in everyone's heart, and Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the bigger of the biggest and the smaller of the smallest. So if not under guidance, I couldn't understand like what is Krishna. I would say, oh, your God, like God is, once he's so big and once he's so small, he's present everywhere and all. So that was the point that I think knowledge is very important. Like and under guidance knowledge. That's it, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
And Prabhu also like understanding Krishna is very hard. We just as Soumya Mataji said, ki Maya Devi, who is doing his devotional to Krishna, like his energy. So we are entangled in Maya Devi. So like we are not even understanding his Krishna's energy. So understanding Krishna is so far. So we would require the process for that, and under guidance we can do that. That's it, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. And you caution your tutors and us as well. We are guiding you against Maya. We are in Maya. Think like this. You know, the Maya, you cannot win against Maya. You cannot win. You can never win. And once Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj will also say, that devotion service makes you fearless. But if you think you are fearless, there's also Maya. Devotion service makes you fearless. But if you think you are fearless, you are in Maya. Hare Krishna. It is wonderful. Lot of nectar. Lot of nectar. Hare Krishna. Yes, please keep coming. Please keep bringing in. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Varun this end. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. First of all, to sharing my realization. So a few months ago, like I can say about 10 or 11 months ago, I was in Nagpur. It was a time of rain, and I was hanging out with my friends, what we usually do in our 20s. So I was just chit chatting with my friends, and I just took my hand and put it on some metal rod, and I got a really deep electric shock that took me around like 1 or 2 seconds, because I was able to see people were smiling and like laughing at me, like, why are you shaking like that? And by that time they could realize that I'm getting an electric shock, and they tried to save me. I was able to get out of it by the grace of God. Uh, People were screaming like what happened and all, and somebody also tested like putting his finger on that electric pole, that like is it really getting electric or not. But yes, that was a correct electric shock that I got. After getting that electric shock, I after few days I started getting two realizations, or I was meditating upon that situation, and I got two questions in my head: why I was saved, and if I now that I am saved from that electric shock, what is the purpose of my life now? Because it took me like 10 months to get out of this question, when Bhat Prabhu just gave me a book to read, and that was Science of Self-Realization. In that book, I actually marked it in my in my PDF, that Atato Brahma Jijnasa. I was searching about that particular verse because the meaning was so deep. So I found that that verse is coming from the starting verses of Brahma Sutra, which says that now that you got this form, let's inquire about Brahman, or the absolute truth. That thing hit me hard, and that gave me that answers to all those two questions, that yes, I got saved because of this for this inquiry, and my purpose of life is to inquire about Brahman. So this is the realization, short realization I can say, that led me to get into these classes oftenly and repetitively, and that incident made me a bit serious about what I'm doing and what Avinash Prabhu is preaching me, and what I'm learning from all the devotees. So that's the one thing. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you come for the first time, Varunji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Very nice. Welcome. And you come
Hare
in
Krishna.
in the self-realizations program, which is best program. Where devotees are sharing their realizations, and you shared your realizations too. I have heard so many devotees around the world having this kind of realization. I remember what came to my mind as during your realization when you got the electric shock, where this devotee, he was driving and he crashed. It was a big crash accident, and he knew he's going to die. He said, I prayed at the time, oh God, give me one opportunity and I'll dedicate my life to you. Please give me one opportunity. And they all became Krishna devotees. Two of them have told me this, here in New Zealand. One was in New Zealand, other I do not know where it was. So good, very nice. You are a very intelligent person, can be seen asking the question as to why were you saved? And second thing is this, after that I was saved, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. And you come, see, this Brahma, this is Srila Prabhupada's forte. This knowledge is there. This knowledge is there.
Yes.
That's the Brahma Jignasa. This knowledge is there.
Yes.
But then he brought it out. You see? So remember, always be in the pursuit of knowledge. Don't get caught up by the institutional situation.
Yes,
Institutional
Prabhuji.
situations will always bring politics in you. But knowledge is pure. Search for that knowledge. Never miss this point. Why was I saved? And after that I'm saved, what am I supposed to do?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam starts when Maharaj Parikshit, the emperor of the whole world, from the Pandav dynasty, when he was cursed to die in 7 days. He said, 7 days you're going to die. So he said, okay, if I'm cursed to die, I'll die, no problem. So he gave up everything and he asked a few questions. First question, one of the important question was that, what is the duty of the person who is going to die? You see? So here,
Yes.
you are saved from death to get life. So you ask similar question. What is my duty now that I'm a man? So the answer has come to you. Never leave Srila Prabhupada's original books. Unedited books, his teachings, never leave. You'll always be happy, my friend.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You'll always never be misguided by this. You'll be misguided by people around it who read it and misguiding you. But always verify back in the book, especially the
Prabhuji.
unedited books. Very important. Yeah. All the best to you. Hopefully we'll keep seeing you in the programs, the beginners program too. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Go, Hare Go. Hare Krishna. Who would like to go next? Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity to give realization. So,
But can you be a bit louder, Prabhuji? Haribol, you froze. We'll wait a few seconds.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, Haribol. Can you speak a bit loudly, Prabhuji? Can you
Yes,
help out?
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I'll be giving realization on the class we had about fear, what we fear the most. So uh, we had discussion on what is there we fear the most. So attachments and things came out in the class. But the most fearful thing, the actual fearful thing, how can we know that? So you said that the greatest fear in life could be only be known by to know that actually to know that we need a spiritual master. So that point I felt that yes, at every point of life, that like Varun Prabhuji said, uh, why I was saved and what is the purpose of my life. So this every question we need a spiritual master, a guru, uh, and we are fortunate to have mentors like you and Avinash Prabhu, Path Prabhu, and Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, and apparently Srila Prabhupada. So we can know what our purpose in life is. So yeah, the fear. So many of us fear from failure. Many of us fear about so many material things. But very least we think about what is there more fearful than this. Uh, like we endeavor so much on material things to become successful, to become this, do the rat race or dog race towards becoming successful. But eventually, what if the death is very uncertain? We are doing so much and so much and neglecting. Shruti Mataji said the very philosophical intelligent minds say that the soul do everything. So you do these things, and what do you gain in the end? That was that's what I was thinking. And after this life is over, when we continue in our next life, even if we become a very successful of a businessman, a doctor, or anything, in the next life, do we have that material knowledge intact in our mind? No, we have to start from a very scratch. But unlike that, in devotional service, knowing about life, knowing about Krishna, uh, it is just 1%. Even the 1% of pure devotion is still be there in our next life. We are not starting from zero. We will be starting from one. As Pat Prabhu says, we have already done some chanting, and we are very fortunate that we have covered that in next life we can be human. We will get a human form, or at least we will be starting from the very now what we are at. We might get born in a Vaishnav family, but that's the thing. Krishna, he takes hundreds of and thousands of steps towards us. So that's what I was thinking. And again,
So you froze, no? You couldn't hear you.
uh,
And again, after that, Vaishnav
Hare
family.
Krishna Prabhuji, now that
Yes.
yes, Prabhuji, we are born. We c- we could be fortunate to born again in a Vaishnav family, and Path Prabhu was also said that it is mentioned that Srila Prabhupada said that if you chant daily in till your death 16 rounds, uh, he at time of death, he if you are not able to recite Krishna's name, he will come and he will you know he will make you say the Krishna's name, that you can get liberated from this cycle of birth and death. So that really hit me that acharyas promise us that, and even Krishna says it,
if you surrender fully to me, you will get liberated. So then why? Still we follow this path of misery, still we do these things and not fully dedicated and not even try. We make excuses from devotional services, like from chanting and that I have less time, I have exams coming, I have this to do, I have that to do. So I'm chanting less of around, but it's just excuses. So, and the another thing that devotees, the Krishna devotees are always carefree. People may think we are careless, but no, there is a difference between carefree and careless. As we devote every work of ours to Krishna, eventually we become carefree because we don't hanker for the fruitive results. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So we don't hanker for the fruitive results. We just do our work. We do our very best on all the material things, so that we can, after doing that material activities, we can devote our more time to Krishna. So it practically is very good to do. Like if you have this aim or this nature that I want this much time, I want to devote this much time to for Krishna, you will eventually do your material work more perfectly and in a very good way, so that it won't gonna hanker with your devotional service. So the spiritual journey and the material journey goes hand in hand, and both could be done in a very good way. So no, people say that oh, you are doing this bhakti, now what will happen, you are not going to have good things in competition, you will go sannyasi and all, but that's not the thing. Krishna consciousness is way more practical than people think. Some of my friends, when I started not eating onion, garlic, and things, they they are to criticize that it's just a vegetable. We can all eat that and this and that. Why you always, you know, there are some point when I was not involved in their discussion, and we and Pradyum Prabhu used to go to at corners in the classroom, and we used to chant because there was they used to do gossiping and all. So people used to say, why are you guys always, doing this chanting thing and all? You should be enjoying the time. But are you afraid? Because you are afraid, you know, you are thinking about God every time because you are afraid, you are careless maybe. We are very carefree. See, we are so good. We don't bother God every time. We bother Him once in a month or during the festival. So it was so hit that they think they are very carefree, but eventually they are just careless. They don't think much of it. They are not. They don't show gratitude towards what they have. Everything they have, even what they think is carefree, the life they are living, the carefree life, is given by Krishna. So there is this lack of knowledge everywhere. And I am very fortunate that I have got into this process to know very systematic way. Or else I would have been there with them, gossiping around and being careless and thinking that I am carefree. I'm most obedient to God. I'm not bothering Him.
these are the things. And in one of the when we came to Mumbai, you said that uh, known knowledgeful man who knows a Krishna consciousness can marry and can someone asked how many childs can we bear? So you said as much child as you can if you give them good sanskars and make them a good Vaishnava or teach them about Krishna consciousness. So yeah, when there are people like this around and they think they don't know about Krishna consciousness, I don't think they are good enough to, have an authority place or leader's place where they can preach, because you should preach what you practice. So that's what I realized. So if I have that aim to be in an authoritative place or get the grahast life, first I need to, get involved in this process and thoroughly devote myself to Krishna so that the next generation we're gonna have are the same, not in the material miseries. Right now, I'm not so much devoted. I do make excuses, but step by step, baby steps, we are making progress. And with the guidance of our mentors, we'll definitely reach to the path where we are capable of, at least at the level that we can teach for the next generation or to even our child. And now that we are learning more and more about this, we are also able to teach our family members. My family used to, have this. Even many of my family members were having this meat eating and all. But eventually, when I started going in this process, and when my parents met Avinash Prabhu, at the next day, they automatically, the onion garlic in our home was stopped. The meat was gone, everything, and like things have changed. Every member in my family is now doing chanting, offering prasadam. So yeah, you do see changes. You do see that even the 1% of devotion and association with pure devotees and Prabhupada's book will eventually change many things. In one of the class, you have mentioned that our DTs are books, Prabhupada's book. So it will be my motivation that I read more and more of Prabhupada's book and more association with devotees and make less of an excuse, because this is the we should be determined to get rid of this death and birth cycle in this very life we have got, because it is very uncertain when we will die. So let's why can't we be determined today itself? Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this was my realization.
Hare Krishna. Very nice, Prabhuji. Very nice realization. And it's very good that you've taken all this on board, what has been taught to you in your programs as the mentors. And very good you're implementing it in your life, and the family has been benefited too. You'll never go wrong in following Srila Prabhupada's teaching. We know that Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, they are the books to be followed. And what we're doing is, we're trying to prove to you that Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam are good enough. Instead of reading here and there and there. That's what we are doing. And benefiting us also. Okay? All the best to you. Hare Krishna. Now, just one thing. Did you say that Prabhupada has said that he will, if you chant 16 rounds, he will personally come and take us back to Godhead? Did I hear correctly?
Yes, Prabhuji. He will not come. He will, he will make you say Krishna's name in your deathbed.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. So who passed Prabhu said to you? Who taught you this? Who mentioned this? Who passed Prabhu?
Prabhuji.
Okay. He's a mentor too. Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhu. This is news to me too. It's very enlivening to hear that Prabhupada has promised this. Thank you for sharing. Could you please show me the quote, please? Where did Prabhupada say this?
Yes, Prabhu. Picture and yeah, Prabhu, I'll share that picture. There was,
share-
yeah,
sorry?
picture. And
Picture.
devotee realization. In some devotee realization also, Prabhu.
In some, sorry, your voice is
Devotees
cracking.
of Prabhupada disciples.
In Prabhupada disciples have said this.
No. Prabhupada disciples have said that they have seen devotees at the time of their departure. They said that Prabhupada are here and for that. So I've heard that in their realization. That's why I shared.
You heard them in that realization. Okay. Okay. Which devotee is this?
I am not remembering the exact name, Prabhu. It was I'll search my YouTube history and I'll send definitely that video.
Oh, it was told by us in the program.
Yeah, I can. No. It was on a. It was on our. No, not in the program.
Okay. So some devotee had said that Prabhupada, when he left his body, he said, Prabhupada, you've come. Something like this, he said?
Yeah, they said that the one devotee shared that yes, Prabhupada are there and yeah,
No,
they
but
have come to take
if you chant
them
16
back. So
rounds daily, the thing is, if you chant 16 rounds daily, then at the end, Prabhupada will come and take you back to Godhead. Or chant Krishna's name for you if you can't chant. This is mentioned?
No, bro, I did not mention that. I did not say that he will chant Krishna's name for you. I said that at the time of that, Prabhupada will take care of if you follow your particular sadhana, if you follow all the regulative principles, if you do what the scriptures have said on what your mentors and Srila Prabhupada said, then you don't need to worry. It will be taken care of. Just follow your sadhana. That's what I said in the class.
Okay. But okay, so it's not that Prabhupada will come and chant for you and all this, right? That's not what you said. Just want to be sure. Haribol. We can't hear you. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, bro?
Yes. So that's not what you're saying is that that's not what you said. Prabhupada has not said that, right?
Yes, bro. Prabhupada has not said that. I've said in the class that if you do your daily sadhana, I'll just quote it verbatim. If you do your daily sadhana, if you are following what your mentors are saying and following what is written in Srila Prabhupada's book, then you don't need to worry about like you just follow that. Don't worry about anything else. Just sincerely follow that, and rest things will be taken care of. That's what I said.
Yes. Because we can't make any lofty claims, Mentors also are speaking from Prabhupada's books only. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Haribol, Avinash Mishra.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Yes, I'm speaking on somebody else, Prabhu. Yes. I was listening to conversation, Prabhu.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So we have. I think we don't have this kind of discussion before. No.
Sorry.
We have no such discussion about living.
Just be really careful.
Yes, Prabhu. And actually, I was going to share in my realization, because these young devotees are exposed to so many places and so many types of devotees.
No, that's okay. That's all right. We understand that. That is best enough.
Yes.
That's okay. Because what happens is that there's a great criticism going on within the society of Prabhupada. The Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that. So, and people now don't listen to it. It's the Prabhupada said, people make their own thing. So that's why we verify what it is. And that's not what Prabhupada said. So that's good, no problem. But now as we are having, uploading our responsibilities, I'm sure we need to be very careful about the references, what event is, what is spoken. Because tomorrow anybody can ask a question. So it's good enough. Nothing was done. So Om Prabhu, you got this clarified? You got the answer, right? That Prabhupada would not stand for you. You got the answer for you?
Yes, sir.
So what?
Sorry, I made.
Yeah.
I got the wrong reference. I guess.
Yeah, that's okay.
I heard
That's
it.
all right.
Maybe
No problem. That's perfectly all right. But we just wanted to make sure that at least our mentor Avinash Prabhu is communicated correctly, which is done. Prabhu also said that he did not say this way. But wherever you got this thing, then what happens is that if it is not corrected now, then it may remain in your mind, and that will remain in you. No, yeah, that's true. Prabhupada has said many times that if you follow the 4 regular principles, 10 to 16 rounds daily, you'll go back to Godhead. But it was spoken in a particular reference, in a particular way. To Nanda Kumar Prabhu. Yeah. So that is correct. But it is not that I'll come and check. Okay. This part is there. Now let's just make sure about this. Yeah. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now pass Prabhu Hare Krishna. Can you listen to me, please? Can you be on 20 minutes, please? Hare Krishna. I just want to let you know this reference, to the best of my knowledge. Are you there?
Hello.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Hello.
Yes, that's fine. We can hear you.
Yes.
You're traveling, so you will not be there. I understand. So what happens is this: there, I think in 1 or 2 cases, there's one case of to the best of my knowledge, and there are many other references also of other devotees too. But in one case specifically, which I also referred to, is in the case of one, I think Sudama. So Prabhupada said that you start a center in Japan. You start it, and whoever starts the center in Japan, I will personally come and deliver the time of death. You can hear me? Because we don't know, you are in and out with the connection. Now he's left. Right. Let's hope he comes back quickly. Okay, I mean, maybe I'll keep going, and maybe Avinash can speak to him on this. So this for Sudama, this had happened. So Prabhupada had said this to all the devotees present, disciples present, to say that whoever opens a center in Japan and preach there, I will personally deliver them at the time of death. Okay. Now, I can show you this, but I cannot show you Sudama Prabhu right now, because many of you will get shock of your life seeing him. Okay, so another very interesting devotee mentioned this to me, that person actually became a male prostitute. So when he died, this very, very wonderful devotee, very senior to me, he passed away, here in New Zealand. He said when he died, the nurse recollected, and the nurse mentioned this to other devotees who went there. He said, "You're one of the Hare Krishnas there." And he was male prostitute, fully male prostitute. He died of some disease. They were all alone. He said, but when time came, so he jumped up, he stood up from his bed and said, Prabhupada, you have come. And he went back. So this is what is related to him, to the devotees by that verse, in this one case. Yeah. But there was a promise given to Prabhupada for that Japan. So this just wanted to mention this, because then all of us are listening, and then all of us should have a clear understanding of these. Because there's many things where sometimes the tutors are correctly saying things, but if we do not hear properly, so then it may become our own, thinking. And we may not, it's a small thing, you may not share with others, anybody. It's very good that you share your own Prabhupada. So if others also have similar things, that can be clarified. So at that stage, Prabhupada did. Otherwise, this is nowhere mentioned that I will come personally and chant for you. So you just follow the process will help you. And that is correct what Parth has said. And what he has been taught by Avinash. So that is correct. Process is correct. We're satisfied. Okay. So I'm sure, as Prabhu also mentioned, he understands this point, and everybody else also. So anyone has any question on this point before we move ahead? We want to be sure. I think Parth has joined that. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
You're back now, Parth.
Yes, Prabhu.
So I think your connection, failed there. So what did you hear? At what stage did you?
Sorry, Prabhu, your voice correct. Can you repeat what you said?
I said your connection, was weak, so you just got disconnected. So what did you hear about the conversation that I was having with you? At what stage? Hare Bol. Disconnected. Not connected. Yeah, probably he can hear us through there. I don't know whether he can hear us.
Yeah, Prabhu, I can hear. Just
You can hear me, huh?
I hope now it will be.
Okay, you keep coming and going. So, at what stage did you hear last? What did you last hear, Prabhu, before you go skip out again? Tell me that.
Uh, stage.
Okay, you're still coming and going. Can't hear you. So what I was? Can you hear me? Just tell me yes, so I can speak. Can communicate very quickly. We move on. No, it is coming and going. That's all right. So I think I've mentioned this. Avinash would have heard it, and you can narrate. You can hear me. You heard this thing? What I said?
Just for a while explaining, Prabhu.
Oh, that's fine. So there's nothing wrong. All of you was correct with them. Just some misunderstanding on the hearing, listener part. But that's all good. Perfectly all right. Okay, Hare Krishna. Now, who would like to go next? Please feel free. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Guruji. Hare Krishna Guruji. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my realization and Thank you, devotees, for their realization. It's actually helped me for sharing my realization, and also it will help me in my own bhakti because as Path Prabhu and Suchi Mataji shared their realization, my realization is same to them. But it's like a kind of hodgepodge which I have faced in these so many days. And but these days, what I found is which actually increased my faith more in Krishna consciousness. Like I went to my relative's place, and there they found that I was attending the classes, I was doing the chanting, I was doing Mangala Aarti in the morning, and also making prasadam for them. So they were actually like Shushti has changed a lot. So they were expecting like to be like them only, like they were worshipping demigods. So I was actually previously worshipping demigods and actually following the principles they were actually following, and I was actually the same kind of mindset which they were had. So they was imposing me the things as they were elder to me. I was not more rebellious, but they were actually asking me that this ISKCON will actually hypnotize you. They were having so many kind of mindset, and they were actually making me feel that you are actually doing the bad thing and you are not following the principle which we are having previously. So for some time I was not well, and they were telling me like my God will save you, not your Krishna will save you. So let's have a kind of challenge, like how many days you will get recover, because I have worshipped my God and your Krishna will not do anything. So I was actually thinking and what to do in this case, and I was trying to attend my class, and in between they poked me in the class as well, and they started questioning Avinash Rao. And the next day, Avinash Rao made me like ask him to join the class and ask him to read the book. So my brother said, no, no, the classes and the books are not for me. I know the things which you are already getting from your Guru Maharaj, and he was actually trying to insult the things which I was doing. So I was more like I was thinking like now I have to make more progress in my bhakti so that I can show them that this is not the thing which they are trying to do it. And I was actually remembering of like before coming to like before starting my journey, I had started adding a one phrase one quote from Shikshashtakam, one text from Shikshashtakam, Trinadapi Sunichena Praropis Sahashuna Amanina Manadena Kirtanaya Sadahari. So one can only chant the name of Krishna when you are in the state of like thinking himself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all senses of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of Lord constantly. So I was actually pondering to them. I think it is because Krishna wanted me to add that into the home screen and show it to them. I actually told them like, let's just see my home, just see my what I've added. They were trying to say, no, no, this is all ridiculous. They were trying to every time they were trying to make me like I was thinking like this is written in the scriptures. They don't know anything. They are just trying to make me feel their demigod is, and they were trying to convince my parents, and my parents were having the second thought that Srishti, you are actually like they are elder to you. You should respect them. I said I will respect them, but this will actually making me feel like what to answer. I was having like I was knowing the answer. That is what Suchi Mataji said, but I was not telling them, and that is what Avinash Prabhu said, don't answer them. If they are telling you, just 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 don't answer them. And there I found a quote from your in the in the group itself, like among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important. Because of silence, one can make progress very quickly. That was from Bhagavatam, chapter 10, 30th verse. So I found that everything is getting related to what I am facing in the situation. So I can relate all those things, and now I understood that how ungrateful we are that we are having this breath and we are just comparing demigods with God, the Supreme Lord, and still we are not accepting that we are wrong. And like I am so much like grateful now. I am under the shelter of WECAN, and I know that whatever I'll be doing, it's correct only, because it's not I'm speculating the things, but I'm just not making my faith mixed with the things which they are actually following. So that's my realization, Rosie.
Yes, Mother, thank you very much for sharing this personal realization. That is true. Maharishi Goswami Maharaj says, we will be criticized by our own, we will be criticized. And that is not only for you, for everyone. You are not some special in the eyes of Krishna that may criticize the whole family. And it is this criticism and our keeping quiet gives us realization, the strength. I'll share one more quote, Maharaj. It's very powerful. When there's a fight, an argument, normally it is said that the person who is the loudest has a last voice. But the actual loudest voice is silence. Whenever there is an argument, learn to be silent. Remember Krishna. But not always you have to be silent. Sometimes you have to speak also. Prabhupada would be very fiery, so would Maharaj would be very fiery. You don't know. Maharaj would say, Maharaj, how fiery he would have been. Don't, you'll be scared. You'll be perspiring, hearing them, seeing them in that position. But it's your father, your parents said that they are elders, so forget about it. But one more thing Maharaj said, by eyes, let your eyes do the talking, not your mouth. And that's fine, we are not fighting with anybody. We are not trying to show that you are somebody senior. And people have this insecurity. But if you're satisfied in what you're doing, that's it. You're not fighting with your enemy. They are ultimately your family members who are acting like an enemy now. But they're doing it because they've got your best interest in their heart. All these are good words, like lollipops, but they're not true. Best thing is that we find strength in it. And you are very fortunate that you've got the whole support structure around you. You can go back and take shelter. So very nice. All the best to you. Now you're feeling okay? You're feeling all right? So who won there? Which God won? And you say, no problem.
Still they are not accepting. Like still they are not accepting. They're telling my parents.
Yeah. They're telling your parents? What are they saying to your parents?
They are telling my parents like till now whatever she has learned, like she got a good job and everything. It's only because of the demigod they are worshipping. So now she's leaving Krishna, and when she is when she has received everything and whatever she's doing is very good, and now she's accepting Krishna. So it's of no use. That is what their thought is all about.
What is the name of the demigod they're worshipping? Which deva they're worshipping?
It's like our Marwadi guru. It's Ramdev Baba. Ramdev Baba from Sri Ramdev Baba.
He's a Baba, not a demigod like Ganesh or Shiva.
No, it's Ramdev. There is a place called Ramdevra near Rajasthan only. There they are worshipping. Yeah.
Whom are they worshipping? One of the gurus, is
Ramdev Baba. Yeah, he's a saint, and also that is something they are actually telling us from the beginning, from the childhood. And there is also a college name over here with the same name. So they are trying to convince that whatever you have learned from that college, and everything, whatever you have received, it's from by his mercy, and now you're worshipping. When you have received everything, now you're worshipping Krishna. So it's of no use. Before this, where were your Krishna?
Before that, you were not ready to come to Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, before I was getting promoted, where were your Krishna? Like everything, they were having so many questions, and I was not answering any of them.
Good. So now you are not staying in their home; you're staying in your home. So there is over now.
Yeah.
then it's like to
Yes.
life. That's fine.
And
Good.
when I
Oh,
buyed new home, that time also they were asking, it was not your Krishna, it was me who helped you in, me and my demigod who helped you in doing the processing of bank details and all. So I was not telling any
yeah,
of the thing. And
that's not even a demigod actually. If they have some guru up there, it's not demigod. It's just a guru. And maybe good guru. We do not know what it is. It's very good. Wow, what Avinash Prabhu is telling you, just follow him. He said it's fine. Is it hurting you, disturbing you anymore?
no, Prabhuji.
No, no.
I and Pradyumna both are like we are trying to make our family members into this, but still they are deviating from us, deviating us from this path. So that is actually one thing.
So this is what you're doing. This is what they think you're doing. You see, they've seen you before, not seeing you after.
Yes.
Don't preach to them.
We are not trying to preach them. They are actually disturbing or provoking us to.
You're insecure. You changed.
Yeah.
You're not like them.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. We had the same thing. Don't you worry. You're not special on this. So that is correct. What you're doing is right. All the best to you. Very nice. Now, Pradyumna also has raised his hands. Maybe you want to say something, Pradyumna Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yes, actually, they also tried to brainwash me and say that you are not on the right path, you are doing something like that. And I straight away said them that I don't want to talk about it and I know what I am doing. And actually, that boosted my confidence that I am on the right path. And that really gave me that confidence that I am really doing right thing. And like Srishti Mataji said, I realized one thing that they said to Srishti Mataji that when you are sick, where was your Krishna? So I was thinking that how ungrateful we are that when we are very well and every breath Krishna is giving us, we are not thanking him for that. But when we get some miseries or when we are sick, then we are blaming that where is your God?
Yes, correct. You both are absolutely right. Very nice. Just leave it like that. You are the guardians of Avinash Prabhu and Saraswati Mataji. Just follow nicely. You're safe.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
What has been taught is not something new, It's Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. It's not Avinash Krishna Prabhu has not written Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. He's just quoting them. That's it. What wrong? Nothing wrong. Just chant and be happy. Very good. Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, I was just quickly, I know devotees still want to speak. I just quickly want to share that relation when Srishti Mataji was sick. And she was traveling in Rajasthan somewhere, and this devotee, Vinay Vyas, manifested in my group. We are having a 10:30 p.m. class. I think it was midnight, close to midnight. And in the first question, he asked me that, what do you get by taking this class? You remember all those discussion? And I think they have seen me first time shouting at someone when somebody is arguing with me. And they were watching me, all those young ones. And then the way I answered the question, and I was asking more than answering question. And then later on, all those devotees were sharing their relation. Prabhuji, why did you say like this? Or you have not told them, or we have to retire every day and all. I said, he's not ready for that. And then I concluded with this, that you must invite this devotee in our class. He's our Shiksha Guru, because if these people don't show up, then how my knowledge is tested? So this was a very important conversation. And I think these devotees must have learned a lot of things from that discussion. So,
Jai Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We fought with the whole world to make us Krishna conscious. We are fighting with our families to keep ourselves Krishna conscious. Who would like to go next? Who would like to go next? Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I hope my voice is audible. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this platform to share my realization. So today I would like to give my realization on one of your lectures on what is the most dangerous type of fear that already Om Prabhu has covered in his realization. So what I after listening to your lecture, I get to know about that what different types of fear the people in the material world has developed, and how the attachment has been a important major cause of the fear, because getting attached to the material things, and then as we know that they are not permanent to us, and we have fear of losing them and becoming uncomfortable. Earlier when I has that kind of feeling whenever I don't have a failure or didn't achieve my goals. And after knowing from the class that Krishna is so merciful that if you take one step towards him, he is ready to help you to take 1,000 steps, and helps you in your spiritual journey. And if I tell about the about whatever the material things we are doing here, and is just will be there here only, and will not be uh, going us with in the next birth. If get to know about the difference between what is the material and the spiritual journey, and how it is spiritual journey is so important, is so important and is permanent to our soul. And if we end our journey in one life from from a particular stage, then we get a chance to uh, continue our life from that stage only in the next birth. And this really helped me in realizing that how spiritual journey is so important for me, and how to practice detachment. If I tell you my personal realization on this, then before I was not a very get hampered and become uncomfortable whenever I face failure or something that is not suited for me. And but after listening to your class and coming on to the classes of Hare Krishna weekend, I get to know about that uh, we are practicing that whatever we have been doing in the spiritual journey, and whatever we have been learning here is to focus to get detachment from this the hamperment and the uncomfortability from the material world. And if I tell my realization on this is that before I used to get hamper on these failures and all, but now I think that if I am facing this, but this might be there something better Krishna has planned for me, and this always helped me to improve my bhakti and has developed my faith on Krishna consciousness. And Amrish Prabhu also, Avinash Prabhu always tell me in the class that a devotee always do his task perfectly and do his prescribed duties perfectly. So I always focused on doing whatever is on my side. I will do it from the best, and rest I keep it on Krishna. And if I face failure as well here, then may the Krishna has planned better thing for me. And this way it's helped me to build faith on Krishna and improve my bhakti. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. That was my realization.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, wonderful. May I also get that realization one day. No, Hare Krishna. May I also have the same realization one day that what was happening is Krishna's will. Krishna has planned something better for me. Please keep me in your prayers so I can have the same thing. Hare Krishna. Wonderful. Best. Always be happy. This realization will always happy. Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Who would like to go next?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for giving us a nice platform to share our realization. Although I'm not so good in sharing the realizations, I'll just try my best. My realization is from one of your posts onto the Hare Krishna WECAN group. It's from Srila Prabhupada's quote. In the human form of life, one should become a Brahmana, which means that one should understand the constitutional position of the absolute truth, Brahman, Krishna, and then engage in his service as a Vaishnava. We get this facility in the human form of life, but if we do not properly utilize this opportunity, we become a kripana, miser. A miser is one who gets money but does not spend it properly. This human form of life is especially meant for understanding Brahman, Krishna. For become a Brahmana, and if we do not utilize it properly, we remain a kripana. That's a miser. So when I read that quote, and I have read some of from Srila Prabhupada's lecture, there's a small point about the Brahmana as well. So that is the Brahmana philosophy is that I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. Aham Brahmasmi. So it is very nice movement, Krishna consciousness, to understand yourself. First of all, then you understand what is God. And as soon as you know God, then you become a fit candidate to go back to home, back to Godhead. So from this quotes, my realization is that it's not possible to become a Brahman on my own. Our WECAN MVG, Namahata, gives me a right association in knowledge to understand how to become a Brahman and execute the Brahmana's duties. I do not claim that I'm a Brahman, but under the guidance of His Grace Amrish Prabhu, Her Grace Purna Pragya Mataji, His Grace Krishna Samanpur Prabhu, His Grace Avinash Prabhuji, Her Grace Saraswati Mataji, and all the devotees. And I'm trying to teach this knowledge to the small children, which is helping me to understand this knowledge more clearly. By being engaged in preaching, we can able to perform some duties of Brahmana, which is helping us to purify our life. So thank you, Prabhuji, for all the time, all the devotees for your guidance, and please bless us so we can carry on this children classes as well, and then our Saturday program as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai. Krishna's Kids Program ki Jai. Very nice. All the best. Maybe you can have one of the days, you can have the kids to recite verses, They can come for some time and they all can recite verses together. So others can be inspired to have their own, kids program like this. Whenever you want to, you can just come for this, start with the 5 minutes, 10 minutes recitation, and you can go. Very nice. All the best.
Yes,
All
Prabhuji.
the best. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes. Who's next?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, please. You want to say some? Share your realization? Please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Can
You
I
can't
share?
share, please. Just can you put a bit more up? Come a bit more? Yes. Now it is okay. Good.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on my realization. Just before I start, can I share 3 realizations? So I've been practicing this verse. Pacham pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tataham bhaktu bharatam ashnami prayatata manaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf of flower, fruit or water, I'll accept it. So when I'm once a week, I go to my school and collect flowers for Krishna, but like in that verse, they also say he will accept a leaf, but at the age of 6, my dad says not to collect leaves. Like Krishna will like flowers more. But like when I read this verse, I thought I should also collect leaves as well. And then I asked my dad and he said, yes, you can collect. So I just collect a little bit of leaves from the school as well, while I'm collecting my flowers as well. So like that's like one of my realizations. And now like my second realization is like about like how I now got used to not eating chocolate anymore. So like thanks Prabhuji. So like now, so when at the age of 6, when I was in my old school, this kid brought a chocolate cake for the whole school to have. And then when I asked if it had chocolate in it, the person who made the cake said yes, and then I just went back to eating my lunch, and then I was feeling sad and I started crying. And then like after a bit of a while, my teacher asked me, why are you feeling sad like this? And then I told her like why I can't have it. And then she said, on Friday, I'll get you something special. And I was like, okay. And then I just waited for 2 days. And then finally on Monday, she came to school with a little box of gummies, vegetarian gummies. And then I said thank you to her. And I shared it with my best friend in the school. And then as I grew up, I was still crying a little bit. But now, like in year 4, I just didn't care anymore about eating chocolate. And then I just kept on. And then like over here, I realized now at this age, just if you don't eat chocolate, you'll just end up getting better treats. So like that's my second realization. And like I don't know like if we have time to share the third realization now. So
We have enough time. Don't worry. You speak. Keep going. Very nice. We're enjoying it.
So like I like asked my, so I had a little conversation with my teacher, and then I asked him, like I was just playing around in the morning, and then I asked him, are you having hot chocolate, when he was actually having some coffee? And then he said, and then he just realized that I was wanting to play around, so he said, yes, I am having hot chocolate. And then I told him, do you know I'm not allowed to have chocolate? And then he asked me, right? Why? And I said, like, I'm Krishna consciousness. And when I'm Krishna consciousness, I'm not allowed to have like meat, eggs, onion, garlic, mushroom, and like all the stuff we can't eat, even cocoa powder. And then he was like, wow, what kind of religion do you even follow? I mean, I can type it up on your laptop so you can see. Like I can type you up the website. And then I typed up our Hare Krishna website that you guys have. And then I showed him all of it. And then like I was going to explain more until the bell rang for class. So like that's my third realization. And
Yes,
he also enjoyed.
Very good. Very good. So the bell rang, but Krishna told you don't. He's not ready for Krishna consciousness. So don't. You train enough for now. Well done. Well done. All the best to you. Now,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
yes, very good. Now, I want to ask you one thing. You want to eat chocolate?
I mean, I used to wanted to like
Now. Now,
No,
do you want to eat
I
chocolate?
don't want to have chocolate anymore. Like,
Very good. You know, sure about this?
yeah, I'm sure. There's only just like one certain chocolate that when my parents checked the ingredients, it didn't have cocoa powder or anything like I couldn't eat. So I was like, thank you, that's my chocolate now.
Well done. Second thing, do you want to eat meat?
No, because it's basically animal. Because people
Yes.
people
So
are
you don't want to
killing.
eat. You
They
don't want to eat, right?
Yeah, I don't want to eat it. Like,
Third thing, do you want to eat eggs from where chicks come?
no, thank you.
No, thank you. Now, do you want to drink alcohol? You are underage.
I can't have it at this age, but even if I grow up at the age that I can't drink it, nope.
No. Right. Well done. Well done.
The top of the
Do
list.
you want to do gambling?
That's gambling.
Good. You don't even know gambling. It's the best. You don't know about it. Wonderful. Do you want to go and pluck some mushrooms and eat mushrooms?
No.
So then, if you don't want to eat this, then how about next time when you tell anybody what you eat and what you don't eat, say, I don't eat meat. So I don't want to eat meat. I don't want to eat chocolate. I don't want to eat eggs. I don't want to eat, alcohol, tea, coffee. I don't want to do it. Rather than saying, I'm not allowed to eat. I am not allowed to eat eggs. I'm not allowed to eat chocolate. I'm not allowed. They will think, Navina, your parents are your enemies. They're forcing you not to eat this. So you must rebel against them. They'll think like this. Is it true?
No.
Your parents love you?
My parents love me.
I think so as well. Yeah. So if you say, I don't want to eat, rather than I'm not allowed to eat, do you think it's a better idea to speak this way? Yeah. Well done. So think about it. And from now onwards, say, I don't eat. And look like this. God, I don't eat. You don't have chocolate? No. But man, yeah, I tried it before. I don't like it. You don't like chocolate? You're full. I said, no, you are full. What I eat that you don't eat. Yeah, I eat gulabs. What do you eat? I eat gulabs. What's gulab? Oh, they're sweet nectarian rose petal gulab jamun. What was it? Yeah, then what? I have my own cake. It is carrot cake. It's absolute nectar. You don't know what you're missing out. You eat this and you will know. My taste is a bit higher. Tell them this. With the chin up, my taste is higher than yours. So when you eat what I'm eating, you also give up. Tell them this. And whenever it's possible, whenever your mom makes nice gulabs or nice pedas or whatever sweet, take 2, 3 for your friends and say, hey, have this, try it. They'll love it. And so that's why I don't eat chocolate. Do you understand? Right. What do you think? Is it a good idea?
Good idea. I also kind of do that when my mom gives me like some ghee and sugar on roti and she rolls it up. Like my Chinese friend, she still eats meat and stuff, but she asked me what is it, and then I told her what it was, and then I explained like how to make it and stuff, and then she asked, can I try some? And I was like, sure, I'll just just kind of rip it off just one of the pieces so you can try and not waste it. And then I just gave her some and she actually liked it. So I gave her like another full one that I haven't bit yet. And so like I kept on giving her some, and then I was like, yay.
Wow. So you're doing prasadam distribution already. You imagine this. Isn't it great? Krishna will be so happy. You see, that's the one. That's what devotees do. Right? So well done. Okay, and from now onwards, I don't eat. Rather than I'm not allowed to. Right? You can take ownership of that. You've grown up now. Well done. Navina Mataji ki jai. Hari bol. Big Hari bol for her. Hari bol.
Hari bol.
Well done. Well done. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Navina Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hari bol. It's so wonderful, your realizations. I am so happy to hear it. And I love the realization where you said, if you don't eat chocolate, actually you get more treats. That is so true. So nice. Just in some days you're going to be 10 years old, right?
Pretty much like less than 30 days now.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, you're such a tiny little cute baby when you were born, and now you're going to be 10 years old. And you're such an amazing small soldier of Srila Prabhupada, Very, very proud of you. Very, very nice. Hare Krishna. I also wanted to actually take this opportunity to, I'm listening to all the realizations, and I was thinking, His Grace Avinash Krishna Prabhu and Her Grace Sarvasiddhi Mataji both are burning a lot of midnight oil. I can see all this shining lamps, It is so beautiful, right from every single person here who has, I actually feel like I should take everyone's name for the amazing realizations that everyone has shared. And that is my realization today. I'm so overwhelmed with your wonderful realizations. Srila Gurudev, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj used to always say that realizations means progress. And when I was listening to each and every realization today, I felt that it's coming so much from your heart. It is so genuine. And, that is your progress. I just wanted to say that you all are progressing. I can see that just from your realizations. It's so wonderful. It's so nectarian. And, you all are absolutely special. I can say that. And I'm just so overwhelmed today. Just one point where Parth Prabhu was saying about the smiling part. I remember Srila Gurudev, because His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj is known that if you listen to the lecture, then the audience is always laughing. After every 2 sentences, 3 sentences, the lecture is very lively. And I remember in one of the lectures, Srila Gurudev said that when he was going to accept the sannyas order of life, at that time someone mentioned that, now, you have to be, you cannot laugh. You have to be grave. So Srila Gurudev said, okay, no laughing, then I don't want to, accept sannyas order of life, because that's the nature of Maharaj, the way the message is conveyed. So I just thought that I should bring this point about there's a difference between laughing. We used to completely, and we were awake in Maharaj's lecture always. He always kept us awake. So yeah, I'm just very, very happy. I'm just so happy to see all these shining lamps. And I know it's a lot of hard work. So again, Avinash Krishna Prabhu and Sarvasiddhi Mataji, it's very nice. It's very nice. And such wonderful devotees. And thank you for your nice association and realizations. It also brings all the inspiration and enthusiasm, in us by just listening to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much. And thank you, Amrish Babu. I'll also share my quick realization while we are talking on this. The thing is that this time I've not told them that to prepare for election. So for me also, there are a lot of surprises. So the other thing that I always talk about both of you in our classes. Whenever I get up, Amrish was told like this, Amrish said like this. So, and my efforts are tested, at how they actually talk about this. So I get, I don't know what they are going to refer me about. So it's not my glorification, it's all your glorification. You have done much harder work than what we are doing. We are just trying to plan our retirement. Whether it is 10:30 or 5 a.m. morning class, so I have to get up at 3:30 and do all those things. But devotees respond. And when devotees respond and we can share those relations, we just share relations. We don't do anything else. We just repeat. And the other thing is that all the devotees which are here now are in a very special situation. One devotee is challenging me for Gayatri. She's not here, but we had a special class on Gayatri. And Suchi Mataji is doing some research on something. And then Path Prabhu, when he went to that and started living with devotees, I get scared. I don't know where he's going to get into. But he kept talking to me. Similarly, all those, what is his name? Deepak Prabhu's roots are from Mathura and Vrindavan. He's from that place. I thought, okay, what I can teach them. And then all those devotees, and Divyanshi Mataji, I've not spoken to her for a long time because she's somewhere stuck. And no, she's good. She's still responding. So all those devotees they need a lot of guidance. And the guidance is not special, it's just repeating those words. And that's where our knowledge is tested, that how much actually we understand and how do we apply. But as you rightly said, these devotees are shining lamp and they are our hope. And we had a special class on this Saturday, our Saturday, their Friday, where I was talking only to devotees who are in our beginner class, that what is next, what devotional activities you are going to do. And then we started talking about preaching, otherwise I will not talk. And the good thing happened after that, do something which you can do continuously, don't stop, otherwise don't start. Then this Prajunu Prabhu and his other devotees have started morning japa session, which we used to do before. And now more people want to join into that class. So that's outcome of that. So no glorification to us, Mataji and Prabhuji. It is all your single-handedly, I can vouch for it. And I always say like this, that the knowledge given to us, the guidance given to us is only coming from you. Amrish, who got me to Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. So I have no second thought about this. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. You all are always in your prayers. The more you preach, the more time I spend with Guru Maharaj. Praying and getting hammered, They said this, they said this, they thought like this. That's why we are very careful, But when I come out, I'm quite better, My breakfast is ready now. So very nice. All the best to all of you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thinking, Maharaj, when Maharaj would have seen how the reaction would have been, oh, what are you feeding them? Like that. So it's yeah, I just recollection of that. Just even how pleased Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada will be. It's very nice. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yes, Maharaj would say like this, Yeah. Oh, Amrish, कौन से चक्की का आटा खिलाते हैं इनको? What are you feeling them? What is this going on? You have spoiled them. You should be beaten. And nobody came out from meetings. The devotees went to meet Maharaj in the program. And Maharaj, after that, I went. I said, Maharaj was saying, what are they saying for you? And what are you doing to them? So many things you are doing. You should be beaten. You will be totally beaten. Just in a way of encouraging, keep going. So that's just our perfection. This is our organization. This is our university and colleges. That's it. You die. Born here, die here. Finish. Jai Ram Ji. Hare Krishna. Who would like to go next now? Please feel free.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for giving me this platform to share my realizations. I unfortunately didn't get a time to prepare a realization in a formal way. But I do have some experiences and certain learnings from the past sessions that I've attended that I recall and have like jotted down that I want to like reiterate. So just this coming here to like back to college again, and then I remember in the last class we had last to last class, sorry, we had a very elaborate discussion on this, that like your association and the maintaining an aura around you that lets people know that you're not someone to be swayed away easily. And like just one of the first main memories that I recall that when I was coming here, and the allocation of hostel rooms was completely random. So nobody got to choose their preference, and there was no on the basis of academics or anything like that. It was completely random. And before coming here, I was just thinking that I don't know, there are single rooms, and there are 2-seater rooms, and there are 3-seater rooms, and I don't know how they are going to be, and how am I going to like do my worship and do my chanting and do my classes. That was the only concern. Like anything else I could manage. I've lived in hostels before. This is the only concern. And I didn't know which would be the best thing, because it could be that, the double-seater rooms are more like they have more space, or they are better located or something like that. I was like, I don't know. I was just thinking, I was the only prayer that I was only praying to Krishna that whichever room is best for my devotional service, that room, I just want that room. Whichever it is, I that is the room that I want. And in my heart, I knew that a single room would be the best, but I was not saying anything. I was just saying that whichever is the best for my devotional service. And I knew that single rooms were very few here. Like most of the rooms were double-seated and 3-seater. I was like, I don't care about that. And I remember that me and my father, we were sitting at the airport and we were discussing all of this. And then the list suddenly came of, all the rooms that had been allocated to people and everything. And so it turned out that they had like they no longer had any 2 sharing rooms. They only had a small room where 3 people would be, and then there would be a single room. So, and we saw the list of all the people who got the single room. There were only 30 people or so who got the single room, and mine was the first name, first serial number. And I was laughing so much. I was sitting at the airport, number 1, Divyanshu Gupta. And it was completely random. And I was so happy, because then it has like a good amount of space for me to like settle like this photo that Avinash Prabhu has shared with me of like all the Krishna, and then Lord Chaitanya, Lord Narasimhadev, and then the parampara and everything. So I set up all that temple here, and then this like everything. Like I know there are things about this room that are probably a bit uncomfortable to other people, but I'm completely happy, because I'm like I have all these things, and these things can go on. Like this is something that I can keep following. And when I came here, it was still a bit, it was still, I was still not unsure about what all I'm going to experience here. But there have been innumerable experiences where I've felt that I'm still I'm still under the shelter. I'm still in the right so to speak association, so to speak. And one of the first things I kind of remember is that when we were having this I was thinking about it, that another 2 years of like not being able to control my food at all, not being able to, because here in Kerala, like when I was in my undergrad, we still had like outlets around my college which served pure vegetarian food and things like that. But here in Kerala, almost every restaurant serves beef as well. So I can't eat. I don't want to eat from any of those restaurants. So I have to eat my hostel food only. So, and like, of course, I'm okay with eating the mess food, but it does have onion and garlic. And then so recently, like a week ago or something, like I saw like in my email, there was a Google form that that is asking people that let us know that if you want Jain food to be distributed at the mess. And so like fill this form, and basis the population and everything, we'll decide to. I filled the form, and I also instigated a lot of my friends to fill the form, because like if you fill it, then I'll have it for me as well. I think they filled it. I don't know the outcome of that, but I'm hoping it would be something nice, even if it's like in a small quantity. That would be nice. And like there is
just this one thing that happened very, very recently, that we're also learning financial accounting here. So, which is, as an engineer, something I've never studied before. So our professor, like when he entered the classroom, and he had a very different aura around him. He's a very, very old person, and he had like a different kind of a tilak here on his forehead. Like it was like this, like I don't know what it was, and he just seemed like a different person altogether, and I was just very interesting. And then when he started like talking, he said that uh, the accounting, who's the first person who knows accounting, who's like perfect at accounting, father of accounting or something like that. And we were all just like answering people around, like chartered accountants and everyone. And he said, no, the first accountant is Chitragupt. Like he's taking taking an account of everything and that you're doing. And then he goes on to explain that you think that you have your good karma, and then you have your bad karma, and then they cancel each other out. And then that's on the basis of that you decide that you go to heaven or hell. And then he said this one line, heaven or Vaikuntha or hell. And I was very interested to like hear this word, because I don't hear this word a lot from common people. But then he said that is not how it happens. Good karma is you get your results for good actions, and then you get your results for bad actions. And I was just thinking throughout that what kind of financial accounting I'm learning. This person just kept going on about this. That is not how it happens. You can't cancel out your credit and your debit. It has to go different ways like that. And all of his financial analogies from that point on seemed like rooted in that concept only. And it was like I'm like, it was just a starting point. But that class, I was very interested in that class and in that professor, and I could feel it, that that there's something else here. I'm not saying that he did not seem like a part of a Vesh, like I don't know what his source of knowledge or anything is, honestly, but it's just that something that reminded me that that there is still that I still felt under the shelter of Krishna consciousness. I don't know how. And we also have classes. Avinash Prabhu always says this, that Bhagavad Gita is a book of management, first and foremost. Everything that you want to learn in life about management, that's something that you can learn from Bhagavad Gita as well. And not that it's the only book for that, but yes. And we also do have a subject in our curriculum for management learnings from Bhagavad Gita. And I definitely we have, yes. And I think it's taught by like one of the really good professors in our college as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to joining that course. Yeah, and it's a very disruptive experience to be here, honestly, because they have no regard for time. They will call us for meetings at 12 a.m. in the night with like 5 minutes of notice, and they'll keep those meetings running till 3 a.m. in the night and things like that. And we've been told that this is something that only goes on for like the first 2-3 months that you're here. This is something that we've been told unanimously, but it's still very exhausting. I'm trying my best to keep up with everything. Like my deity worship is something my morning prayers and everything, that is something I don't give up on, and I try to chant as much as possible. And but it's still very disruptive. So my only prayer is that somehow or the other, even if it's, I hope that it's a very short-lived turmoil period, but after all of this is over, it's my only prayer is that everything comes back to normal, and that everything comes back in that same schedule. And even like the people that I've met here, I didn't consciously make any choice, but most of the friends that I have here, they're like vegetarians, pure vegetarians, and they don't go for alcohol and all those things, and they're very like, yeah. And it's like I didn't make those conscious choices. It's just that you said this thing that if you carry yourself in that light, you association you pick very carefully. But somehow I've found really nice people here, and like we're all collectively struggling with the lack of vegetarian food, so it's not a problem. So yeah. And we also right in the center of our institution, we have a huge statue, or I don't know what's the appropriate word for it, a huge statue of Arjun. And he's and at the bottom of it is written, "Arise, Arjun." So the message behind that is that earlier Arjun, when the war was starting out, he was very confused as to what to do. But once Krishna gave him the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, he was not doubtful anymore. So like it's a statue of Arjuna pulling the arrow with very strong determination. So he's like equipped with knowledge, he was free of all doubt. That was the point of that statue. But it's such a big statue that every time I cross it, I like that. It's the same thought that occurs to my mind, that we have that verse also. I think I'm not able to recall it right now, when like Krishna asks Arjun that you should fight now, that it's the time for you to, this is the right thing to do. So it's a very it's a different experience to be here. Definitely extremely disruptive in ways that I would not like, but I'm trying my best. So yes.
Hare Krishna. I'm so interested in this. Tell me. So this is IIM Kozhikode, right?
Yes, I am Kozhikode. Yes.
Yeah. And they are teaching you Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, management lessons from Bhagavad Gita.
In IIM. In
Yes.
Kerala.
Yes.
Okay. And then you've got a financial accounting teacher who comes and
Yes.
talks about this is for Lord Shiva. This Shiva. And especially those who are impersonalists, they have this. Okay. But we are okay, we are not worried about impersonalists and all that for now, that's fine. And he comes and talks about the philosophy that we have on the concept where the bad karma, good karma doesn't dissolve. You have to enjoy and suffer accordingly. There is a heavenly planet, there is Vaikuntha also, and there is hellish planets also. So this is pretty bold in today's India, actually, where in this name of secularism, and especially in Kerala, which has got this Marxist and this government, you are allowing this. Do you know something? When you told me about IIM Kozhikode, I remember one incident that happened. About last year, this year starting, the Indian government had allowed Indian government had allowed Afghanistan's Taliban, their committee members or their leaders to get trained on administration skills in IIM Kozhikode. It remained with me. I said, why IIM Kozhikode? I said, it must be a small place somewhere down there. So they put it there. No? That's what I thought. But there's a reason behind it. You've got Arjun standing there. So they've got a whole system of Sanatana Dharma there. Is it not so? They gave them 3 months course. I did a bit of research on this. They gave them 3 month online course, though. It's an online course. But if this guy is going to go and give them Bhagavad Gita knowledge on financial accounting, that's great, And it was done so that they can understand, because India is supporting Afghanistan, Taliban, so they don't bomb, whatever reason is. So they put 200 crores in their budget, Indian budget, to support Afghanistan government. So part of that training, so that they understand our point of view, India's point of view. That's why they have chosen their representative to be trained in IIM in Kozhikode. I thought you should know this. You're aware about this? It's pretty well known there. Tell us more about this. What are they aware about this? What do they say?
Yes, Savji. So we did have Taliban officials had virtual training in management and as well as Indian culture. That is the training that they received in IIM Kozhikode. And you're absolutely right when you say that our chairperson, who's the institute of this chairperson, I think that he's very, I'm not sure if it's bona fide or not, but he has a lot of faith in Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. And like even when he was giving us his introductory talk, he had a lot of mentions of these things as well. And even throughout our institute, the blocks and everything, they're named after Chanakya and Ashwatthama and all those like characters and personalities in Bhagavad Gita. And that's how, and we have this whole Arjun Path from that whole goes around the whole campus. So definitely there's a very strong culture that's rooted in Bhagavad Gita here. And I can definitely feel it in all of the teachers and everything as well.
Yeah, this is a religious thing actually. In IIM, so there's a reason why Krishna put you there and not somewhere else. And there's a reason why you did not do another examination, to go to some other institute there. This is fantastic. You can tell this accountant, I know this concept, Yeah, I know it doesn't go equates like this, Go to some verse, on this, But then rise up, I know this verse. And what Krishna says at the end, give up all religion, and surrender unto me. I know that. I worship. You'll be happy. Hooray! Well done. And that is the reason why they will do vegetarian. You tell them, go vegetarian, please. You write down this, Hare Krishna, something, write down there. They'll say, very good. Let's do that. Well done. Hare Krishna. Very wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Divyanshi Mataji. It was very nice realization. Yeah, I was just saying, why everything will fall into place. I'm 100% sure about that. Because you started with your prayers, to Krishna, that whatever happens, you put me in a position where my devotional service should not be affected. So that's a very correct beginning. And mark my words, you will find that everything will fall into place and everything, Krishna takes care of everything then, It's very nice, very, very nice. Wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Hare Krishna. This is very inspiring life-changing experiences, man. You can go on and on. It will help us so much in our bhakti. Superb. All of you people are wonderful. Hare Krishna. Who would like to go next now?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all very much for your very nice realizations. I actually see that there's a IIM in Ahmedabad as well that started management of Bhagavad Gita to, I think, 2021. So it's doing the rounds. It's quite cool. As I said, it's very nice to hear everyone's realizations, especially the youth. So I just wanted to speak on some sort of underlying theme that we're hearing, but I just wanted to talk about guidance, and it's very important for anyone in any stage of their life, but particularly in spiritual, in the spiritual life, to have guidance. And when I heard Path Prabhu and Shrishti Mataji and other devotees as well, when they're talking about their experiences, it's clear that the people that try and convince you that what you're doing is wrong, or they're trying to convince you that you're following this, follow this instead, they may consider that to be preaching. That may be their interpretation of preaching, that I'm trying to convince people, I'm trying to poach someone away from what they're learning and taking them to whatever I'm following. But the fact of the matter is that's not preaching at all, and that's in fact harmful for them. And it's harmful in general. And we've mentioned this, and Patu also indicated this as well, that we've mentioned in the program that if we are sincere and if we are confident in what we're following in Krishna consciousness, then we're not agitated. So even if around you people are arguing about what I believe in is correct and what you believe in is wrong, we do not necessarily have to, or we don't feel the need to partake in that conversation. We're not insecure about what we're following, and that's the strength of guidance. And of course, when I've had numerous talks with so many of my friends and colleagues and stuff, about religion, and everyone has questions, everyone has answers. But following Srila Prabhupada's instructions, following His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj's instructions, that gives you a sort of power in which you have a fundamental understanding, and a fundamental understanding of, for example, what is your purpose in life? The law of karma. A lot of people ask, about privilege and, being born in some privileged family, not. And, I think some of the youth also mentioned that, I don't believe in God because why is there so much, sin in the world? Or why is there always bad things happening in the world? And we know that the material world is an illusion, and everything that's happening is due to the results of past actions and current actions as well. And so even though we have this understanding, we don't feel the need to go about and, scream it in everyone's faces. And that is because of guidance. And Srila Prabhupada also has mentioned to, early on in the Krishna consciousness movement, because a lot of the Western devotees, they had to give up everything. They had to give up their entire lives, give up even, a lot of them came from Christian backgrounds as well. They had to give that all up, obviously with their own choice, and serve Srila Prabhupada's mission. So obviously, their parents were completely shocked because it's a complete cultural shift to what, they're used to. So they would also ask Srila Prabhupada as to, how do I deal with this? My parents aren't receptive towards this, or my family isn't receptive. But Srila Prabhupada never said, that you must convince them, you must, must by force tell them what they're doing is wrong or what we're doing is right. Nothing like that. Srila Prabhupada said that we respect, we respect Christianity. We believe that Jesus is the Son of God. And, you just keep following what you're doing, keep Krishna, slowly add Krishna in your life, and, everything will work out. And we hear all the memories of the disciples where the parents actually end up being receptive. And, that is the fundamental difference between what Srila Prabhupada teaches and what is taught, even in other aspects of Vedic culture. When Prabhupada was saying that his Gaudiya Vaishnava friends or people from Sri Sampradaya were having these discussions and getting heated. But Srila Prabhupada's, not to say that Srila Prabhupada didn't have heated arguments with people, but, the position of our position is that, you follow what you're following as long as it's bona fide. And, as long as you don't challenge what's being taught by Srila Prabhupada, then, it's okay. And if people have questions, then you can answer exactly how, correctly it is. But we don't impose ourselves, and we've never done that. Even in, Hare Krishna WECAN, we've always said, we add, and this is the mood of His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, that you always add Krishna in your life, and then things will work out. It's not that you change your entire life in one day and, give up everything immediately. So that's realizations that I had, before the program, but also heightened by listening to all the realizations here. And guidance is really important, especially now in the world with a multitude of information and a multitude of sources. Especially we can't verify a lot of things. You can't verify where things come from. So it's very important to stick to it. It's also very important to challenge your faith as well. We can't be complacent, and we can't be blindly following anything. So it's good to doubt, even in devotional service, it's good to ask questions, because at the time of death, that's the biggest question. And, how you follow and how sincere you are will be realized then. So that's my realization. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you. Well done. You fight when Srila Prabhupada's teachings are challenged. That's a very good point. You said that's an answer for everyone. We are very quiet and docile, but when it comes to philosophy, if they challenge what Prabhupada are teaching, then you should answer them there and answer the questions. Yeah, well done. And also the second point which I like what you said was that you must challenge your faith, challenge your, what has been taught. Only then practically we can experience it. That's what happened in all these today's realizations. Everyone had personal challenges, and they took up the challenge. They tested their faith. The faith grew strong. That came out very powerful. It's extremely powerful. The realizations programs are extremely powerful for us now. I'm seeing it in the last few years, and it is becoming. Whenever I feel okay, it can't go more powerful than this. It is going to the next level. The people's personal realizations. As all of you gain knowledge, been taught to you, you feel sheltered. You appreciate the fact that you've been sheltered, and it's great. Look, we're off the time, but still we're able to hear. Please, before me saying anything, anyone want to say? Please feel free. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much, all the devotees, for such enlightening and very practical realizations. It's just always, as you said, Prabhuji, it's so much learning from these realizations. And I never thought about like having this realization, because I never felt like that I'm suffering with this, transitioning period. But like after everybody sharing their realization, I thought, okay, I just should talk something about that. My Prabhuji was giving class yesterday. So from in the class, we were just learning about Srila Prabhupada's. We are reading Srila Prabhupada's little books in that class. And so we were learning about that, how like there are so many thoughts. We just keeps on thinking about things. There is always like throughout the day, we just try to control, things around us. And like we can't control everything. We can control some part of the things, but there are these, sometimes we have like overthinking, and many times we just try to think that the thing should happen according to us. And sometimes it takes us to the different path, and it just try to spoil, like, our, we can say, bhakti, because we get entangled too much in the other things. But then we learn how Srila Prabhupada said that you just surrender everything to Krishna. Like you just think, like you just keep Krishna in the center, and then you just feel like such a big burden come out of your head. Because all the other thoughts, we can't control them, but we can like minimize them. And then there is so much to do in this, way that you can spend the whole day doing this. There is things one after another, like chanting and our reading. We are just talking to Srila Prabhupada and through the books and everything. And I realized this thing, like during this transitioning period, that when we decided that, okay, Prabhuji can go, it wasn't easy for me, because I knew that there will be so many things, especially for controlling children for the bhakti. Like they really like to listen to their dad for completing their rounds and everything. And I was feeling that I will be suffering about like during this period. But then, and then there was a fear, like I was by myself with the children. And then, but it never happened that I felt a fear like a day or for a day or like two. Even the children, when I asked them, they're like, do you have like fear, Papa, like your dad is not home, your father is not here. And they started telling me, Mama, why are you in the fear? Because there is Krishna. This is Krishna's house. You shouldn't have any fear. I was like, that is so good. I mean, this doesn't come in a day or two, this faith and this, and they're so confident that there is no such fear. There is no, like, they are not, and then they didn't even feel the absence, because I was like trying to not control them, but engaging them. And we were singing through the harmonium and chanting, and like day and like in the morning and night, we just recite verses. So there was so many, and I thought like I don't want them to feel the absence of their father, because it can be, but it's so just because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, I think, and that's your guidance, Prabhuji. So many years of work, hard work, that it's just helping us in this, time period during when we really have to be strong, and there is no other way to feel strong from inside. This is the only path where we can. I realize that, yeah, it is so helpful, and things are happening, and things are just falling in place by themselves. And with Srila Prabhupada's mercy, everything everywhere is going so good. So yeah, that's my realization. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna. So we are happy that everything is settling nicely for you all. But it's we can pray, we can do things. Yes, hard work and all this right. Ultimately, doer is Guru Maharaj. And Prabhupada's book, those are teachings. We all are very lucky. We got both the shelters of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev. And that is best. We wish you all the success for your family. Hare Krishna. I hope Sanjay is okay now with health. He had,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear
you're
me?
coughing still. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, Prabhuji. I'm sorry. I couldn't share my realization, Prabhuji. I'm just having really bad cough and sore throat and fever. So
That's all right. That's all right.
yeah, but I was listening. All the devotees'
Wow.
realizations. It's pure nectar, Prabhuji. And then I thank you very much for you to organizing this class. And I look forward for this realization class because it's, these realizations are there's so much to learn. And everyone, because I can see it's big hard work put into it by His Grace Avinash Prabhu and his family and Mataji. So yeah, so I still can remember that Avinash Prabhu is so dedicated. It's not like he's doing so many classes early in the morning and different times. But from the beginning, like he used to pick me up for Mangal Aarti, like early in the morning, and traveling from there to Papatoy. So yes, you can see, Prabhu. He's very dedicated, very hardworking in preaching, Prabhuji. Yes, but he introduced me to WECAN Namata, and under your guidance, we all get trained. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. All close to Srila Prabhupada, all close to Srila Gurudev.
Jai, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Subhadra. कैसे हैं आप? You're feeling all right?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Wonderful, wonderful. Bright, your eyes are bright and shining. So you're out of the woods. You're all normal now, right? No more coughing and sneezing, and very good. Very good. What about you, Madhav? कैसे हैं आप? You're okay?
Good.
Very good. Madhav is happy with his father?
Yes.
Well done. Well done. We're very happy to see all of you. Yeah? Is it cold there in Sydney, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Very good. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Yes, who would like to? Okay, it's a bit late. We'll wait for 10 more seconds. If anyone wants to share anything. Okay, Hare Krishna. With this, I think we conclude our realization program today. Thank you very much. Just one thing, in all our lives, we are seeing and experiencing Krishna. And if you're experiencing Krishna, there is a lot of hard work gone behind it. And as you understand that if you feel sheltered, there's a presence of Srila Gurudev and their mercy. So wherever there is a shelter, you feel sheltered by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, that's it. There is no other shelter needed. It's done. Yeah? There is no other shelter. That's what it is. Taking shelter of a guru is you taking shelter of a guru. Taking shelter, taking shelter. Well done. So now, whose turn is it to sing Maharaj? Maharaj, please hear us. Is it my turn? Or is it not my turn? It's your turn. Very good, Subhadraji. Hare Krishna. So you and Mother are going to sing, or you want to sing alone? Mother is going to repeat after you.
Yes, Mother will repeat for you after.
Okay. All right then. Sing nicely with actions. Okay. 1, 2, 3, start.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us. Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us. We have learned some real good stuff. We have learned some real good stuff. Maharaj, we have learned one thing. Maharaj, we have learned one thing. And today for you we will sing. And today for you we will sing. If our room is clean, if our room is clean, then our mind is clean, then our mind is clean. If our mind is clean, if our mind is clean, we can do anything, we can do anything. If our room is dirty, if our room is dirty, then so are we, then so are we. And if we are dirty, and if we are dirty, we're not happy. We're not happy. Wasting time. Wasting time. The greatest crime is the greatest crime. Because wasting time. Because wasted time means a wasted mind. Means a wasted mind. The best is your time. The best is your time. When you're in your time. When you're in your prime. When you're in your prime. And your whole life. And your whole life. Will be sublime. Will be sublime. If your wealth is gone. If your wealth is gone. Then there is nothing wrong. Then there is nothing wrong. But if your health is gone. If your health is gone. Then that's a different song. That's a different song. If your characters die. If your characters die. Then the world will cry. Then the world will cry. Only saintly behavior. Only saintly behavior. That's humanity thrive. That's humanity thrive. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We must always remember Krishna.
We must always remember Krishna
And never forget him too.
and never forget him too.
But how are we to practice this? It's so many things to do. But how are
We to practice this, there's so many things to do.
That is the greatest question. That is the greatest question. And here's the greatest clue.
And here is the greatest clue.
You can only remember. You must learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you. You must learn to work
so nicely that Krishna
remembers you. So listen very closely.
So listen very closely.
And make your thinking sharp.
And make your thinking sharp.
Let's learn how we can live in work so Krishna won't depart. Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart. It's something due tomorrow. It's nothing due tomorrow. Finish it today. Finish it today. Whatever's due today. Whatever's due today. Do it now, don't delay. Do it now, don't delay. Your friends might be lazy. Your friends might be lazy. Doing bad things. Or doing bad things. But you think again. But you think again. Don't follow them. Don't follow them. And you will win the end. And you'll win the end. Whatever work we're given. Whatever work we're given. We do our really best. We do our very best. We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest. We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest. This is how to live, to work and to play. You learn to live this way, you'll see Krishna every day. This is how to live, to work and to play. You learn to live this way, see Krishna every day. When our time is up, he'll take us up above. We'll sing and answer them with a heart full of love. When our time is up, he'll take us up above. We'll sing and answer them with a heart full of love. So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. The only way this world will ever become sent. So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. The only way this world will ever become safe. Now please ask this greatest question. Now please ask this greatest question. And find this greatest clue. And find this greatest clue. You can only remember Krishna. You can only remember Krishna. If Krishna remembers you. If Krishna remembers you. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Krishananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Krishnitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Vitala Srimati Mahavishnu Goswami Namine. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Vitala Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Namo Saraswati Devi Bhavan Krishna Realisations. Jai Hare Krishna. So with this we conclude our today's program. Thank you very much. We'll see you Krishna willing. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Till then, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.